All right, y'all already know the drill. It was a crazy weekend. Free agency just kicked off yesterday. It's been a wild 24 hours. We're going to get into everything. You guys just sit back, relax, grab your popcorn. We're going to get into every single move. I promise you. But before we do that, we got some super chats. So let's go ahead and start the show off with these. My man Gandhi KV2 had a lot to say right from the top. He said, Mars, you are the Memphis GM. What moves do you make? I get rid of Marcus Smart.
I'm definitely not doing that. I feel like with Zach KD, you need elite POA defense. Just because if you're going to play him out there, you're going to need guys who can get around screens, versatile POA. So him, Desmond Bane, they're gonna have to stay for obvious reasons, in my opinion. I don't know. Like, I think anything you do in Memphis is just complimentary. I don't think you have to make a big move. So I don't even know who's really available right now. But another wing who can make decisions, shoot, play defense would be nice. But other than that, it's just health. John Morant healthy, Jaren Jackson fully healthy, Desmond Bane fully healthy. Taylor Jenkins having another year now, this time with a full roster. I think they're in a good position. Maybe another shooter, but like nothing major. I think they're just ready to compete in the West right now.
Does anybody else have any Memphis suggestions?
Well, I don't understand why we forget about Memphis. In fact, Mars, you and I had this conversation about top 5 point guards in the league, and people just forgot how good Ja Morant was. And not only did they forget how good Ja Morant was, they forgot that they basically get their whole crew back next year. Ja Morant comes back next year. Triple J comes back next year. Desmond Bane comes back next year. They get Brandon Clark back next year. Marcus Smart comes back next year. So they basically get their whole crew back next year. So it's not like they had to make a major overhaul. And they were Ja Morant getting hurt from really being more competitive in that Western Conference semifinals. Don't get me wrong. I do think that Golden State was better at that particular point. But if Ja was healthy, I think that we may be looking at a different series. So now we get this crew back. And on top of that, to my man to my left over here, Ndamo, who turned me on to G.G. Jackson, who I didn't really know much about. So now you add him to the fold. This crew is going to be much better next year, considering what they bring back. So the idea of getting rid of Marcus Smart, I think these 2K, these unrealistic trades, I think this is ridiculous for basketball. Some of these GMs know what they're doing, and I feel like in Memphis they know what they're doing.
I agree.
Speaking of which, Chill, Gandhi KV2 got a question for you as a GM.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Chilltown, if you were the Pelicans GM, what moves are you making right now? Herb Jones about to have a career year as well, by the way.
Well, and I already had this conversation not too long ago. I'm out on Zion. I'm out. I was on the fence, but this is year 5. I have to accept the fact that I think he's made of glass. And the 4 or 5 years of health that I asked for, I'm probably not going to get that. So because of that, and I fought Damo on this for months, I got to consider moving one of these dudes. And the guy that I'm going to consider moving is probably Zion. And the reason why is because he's not going to hold up. Last season is obvious why we didn't, 1, go far in the playoffs, and 2, why we had a better seed. The reason why we were better, because Zion was really good during the regular season. He broke down in the playoffs. That's not going to help me moving forward if this is what I have to deal with. He's been there for 5 years. 3 of those 5 years, he's broken down. And I can't move forward with that. I can't. And the fact that you let Valanciunas walk out the door for that little bit of money that he shined for in Washington, for that little bit of money, man, Herb Jones, as good as Herb Jones is, and I don't want to feel like I'm dominating the conversation, but as good as Herb Jones is, and I'm a big-time Herb Jones fan, if anybody knows me, I think Herb Jones is a starter on a championship team. I just don't think it's in New Orleans. So of the pieces that you have, I said this, and I will die on this hill. Pick up the telephone, Milwaukee, and call up New Orleans and ask for Herb Jones.
What would they give up?
Whatever you want.
AJ Johnson.
Whatever you want. Outside of Zion, outside of Giannis Antetokounmpo, take a look at my roster. What you want?
They have no picks.
That's the problem.
AJ Johnson. They just picked him.
That's a good little troll. No,
because I think that Herb Jones on that thing. I think he is what Mars was talking about. If they got Alex Caruso, you put Herb Jones on that wing, he's the.
But he moves the needle for any team.
Why would they give up Beauchamp? I don't want him. Jackson, I don't want him. AJ Johnson, I don't want him. Pat Connaughton, I don't want him. They don't have a single player that they would want.
There's no value there.
Brooke Lopez, you on Brooke Lopez?
And of those guys, so if that
but stretch 5 next to Zion.
Sure. Now, if that's true, Swiper, we may have to get a third team involved to get you what you want.
Well, they don't have any. Well, what would the third team do? Like, what do I get out of this?
That's what I'm saying.
Salary filler.
Because
salary filler.
If you're moving off, if I'm moving off of Zion, what I'm essentially doing is I'm starting over because I lose Valanciunas, right? I lose Valanciunas. I'm gonna move off of Zion. If I'm moving off of Zion, what does that leave me? Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is in year, I believe, 8. I think year 7 or year 8. So I probably
trade both of them, and you don't just trade one.
They just went and got DeJounte, so they're clearly not blowing anything up.
No, they're not. They're not blowing it up.
Yeah, so they're clearly trying to run it back. All of this is if they were trying to blow it up. They're not trying to blow it up.
Right. They're not trying to blow it up.
Yeah,
so
they're trying
they still might trade Brandon Ingram though.
Him.
With adding, I'm not a big DeJounte Murray fan at the league guard. I think that they could get more of a distributor. Don't get me wrong. I feel like the guard position, you got scorers at the league guard, but I think they could get more of a distributor. They could have gotten more of a distributor at the league guard spot. So I don't love that.
Would CJ not be that league guard, and you'll have DeJounte at the 2?
That's the thing, though, Damo.
CJ's also not a league guard, though.
I mean, I don't think I don't think CJ's a league guard, but I'm saying for them, who play league guard for them? I'm just saying
DeJounte would be the one. I think DeJounte would be the one.
So if that's true, so Damo, if that's
DeJounte
true,
Murray, CJ maybe.
So Damo, if that's true, don't we have the same problem that we had in Phoenix, where I got 2 dudes basically playing out of position who play much better off the ball than they do on the ball?
I don't think that's the case with DeJounte.
Well, their offense is predicated mostly on, is it not Zion being kind of the lead playmaker for that team or lead ball handler?
Yeah,
initiate offenses, which is, I mean, I'm not saying that's the best idea, but that's the Pelican system. I'm just going by what the Pelicans do.
Right. Not no more. I think DeJounte got to do that. Right? And I think DeJounte is more than capable of doing that.
He's the lead guard, Ox. He's the one we giving the ball to.
100%. I think he's as far as that roster go. Like, if Zion catch and go, or if we outletting it to Zion, or even if there's certain sets that require Zion to be the one that initiates it, like that's cool, not a problem. But I think your point guard, lead guard, main ball handler should be DeJounte Murray without question.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are definitely sleeping on DeJounte. Like,
I'm fast asleep. I'm snoring right now.
Me too. Me too, Ron.
That trade.
I'm relatively high on DeJounte.
Why?
And I don't mind that trade.
For Larry Nance?
They've lost
I think the Hawks got
Larry.
They lost their.
Larry Nance to close all games.
They lost defense with Dyson Daniels. They've lost Najee Marshall.
I'm trolling about the Pelicans. Did they?
No, they're trolling about Larry Nance.
Larry Nance.
They use him to close out games.
Yeah,
here's Ron. See, Ron, take off your Seattle hat and talk about fit, Ron. That's what you're doing right now.
I'm talking about fit. Yeah, let's talk about fit. Let's talk about how DeJounte Murray's one of the better.
It's an objective fact that Larry Nance closed games for them.
He closed out games for them.
That's fine, but you don't have to have him close out games.
No, I agree. I'm just saying Gifted was trolling by saying that objective fact.
No, I think he's saying Gifted was trolling because Gifted made it. I think he feels like Gifted made it seem that you have to have him there to continue to close out games.
What's their
I'm not saying.
I understand if that's not what you were saying. All I'm saying is that he's closing out games, but I think they'll be fine without him though. Without Larry Nance,
I think we already didn't have rebounders like that. I don't. You know what I'm saying? You lose Nance and also Valanciunas. Like, where's your big man presence to actually rebound the ball?
And they lost Najee Marshall, who was one of their better.
Also, Najee Marshall, who's the glue guy. That was a big loss for them. Yeah.
You know how much defense they've lost?
They lost a lot of defense.
They've lost a lot
of defense. Yeah.
Right now, their defense is Herb, a Trey Jones.
I mean, that's why you got to trade Brandon Ingram for that type of guy, but I don't know who that guy is right now, Mark.
Get a center back in the be ideal.
I mean, who would the center be? Who would the center be, though?
They'd have to look for one. Yeah, they'd have to look for one. I don't know. Even know who that shop can be at.
I don't even know who the guy is. Yeah, I don't know.
The Kings.
That BI trade would have to get some.
Who just got Rashawn Holmes?
We don't got no.
Rashawn Holmes just resigned in Washington.
To Washington. You said Washington.
But Swiper, we don't got no centers for them. What they going? Alex Lynn? Like
maybe the Bulls.
They get Walker Kessler. They can go to Utah. I'm about to say they can go to.
Listen,
they can go to Utah. Utah.
It's not pretty.
Walker Kessler.
I like that. I like
yeah.
Walker Kessler. I actually do like that for them.
Walker Kessler would make sense because apparently Utah's trying to get rid of him. I don't know why.
So trade BI for Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton?
No,
maybe. No,
that's not.
They already have Jose. I
don't really like it.
I can get with that though. I can get with that. If you got to do something, if y'all not feeling DeJounte with the ball, maybe Colin Sexton can come take the ball. Do that. I'm not sure.
So they're gonna have Collins,
I really like Walker Kessler though,
and Jose Alvarado.
I really like.
I would get rid of a lot of players on this team. To be honest,
real quick, I got a question. What is Utah doing with Walker Kessler?
They're trying to move him. Apparently,
they're trying to move him. I think.
I'm not in Utah circles, so everything. This is either stuff I've read from Utah fans or
from what it appears, Mars. Before they were talking about moving him, what were they doing with him?
Well, they were playing him early on in the season. Will Hardy apparently vocalized that he wants Walker Kessler to be willing to shoot threes. Walker Kessler, in fact, does not shoot threes. Will Hardy wasn't a huge fan of that in terms of alignments and spacing and all of those things. So then he tried to run Walker Kessler, John Collins lineups. That was some of the worst basketball we've ever seen. So then he had to choose between one or the other. John Collins was more willing to shoot the ball, so he ended up putting Walker Kessler on the bench. And Walker Kessler's minutes just steadily declined throughout the season because
that's what's wrong with
I don't think Will Hardy's a big fan of Walker Kessler offensively. I'm not a huge fan of that decision, but that's why.
You're a big man. You want to play defensive rebound. You can't shoot threes. Sit down.
That's just why I think there might be a Utah fan in the chat who actually knows what. Like I'm just going off from what I've seen and I think what I heard from Will Hardy. There might actually be another underlying reason. That's just from what
it could be
50-50.
I mean, it doesn't make sense for it to be anything else. I don't know what it is. I felt like he had a strong rookie year. He ended up being a victim of Steve Kerball this last summer, playing on the Olympics, and then after that, it was just a steady decline in his role in Utah. They're going out here drafting bigs. They're going out here signing bigs. They just signed Drew Eubanks. I'm not. That's why I was going to say, Mars, be out to the Utah might make the most sense in terms of trying to get a big back, especially losing rebounding, losing that defense. That probably be the only place where I could think there is a genuine young big or a big that's just needs somewhere out. That's not a Vucevic or that's not, I guess, Nurkic or somebody that's either very old and over or injury prone. Walker Kessler would be the best fit for me.
Yeah, but with the since we're already talking about the Pelicans and Chill, you brought it up earlier with J-Val, and I was before free agency started, I'm thinking Hardenstein and J-Val in my way I felt about it. Those were the two most important free agents. Obviously there's Paul George, DeMar DeRozan, all those guys, right? But like the J-Val and Hardenstein, I felt like they can make the most noise going to the right teams. And Hardenstein, thank you for living up to that. But Valanciunas going to the Wizards is just
for that little bit of money.
I don't understand. I just don't understand that. You know what I mean?
Am I bugging? But like, what value do you think Valanciunas really holds?
First of all,
what do you mean, like on the court, or are you talking about like in moves?
Yeah.
Like
exactly what Oxcoffin is talking about. We cannot undervalue a big who cleans glass. We can't do that.
But I think you can question that when you're a defensive liability on the perimeter and you can't play in the playoffs because of that, because teams can just hunt you routinely over and over and over.
Oklahoma City didn't do that.
What? They didn't do that? Are you serious?
They tried
like
to.
What are you talking about?
They didn't do
They
that?
tried to.
They played him off the court.
You didn't see his minutes wane game from game to game because they couldn't play him.
Let's analyze this. Is going to go.
Look. He can't. Okay, so yeah.
They targeted him. Chill.
Maybe I'm wrong.
That didn't have to happen. That's.
I watched him early on in that series again. Against Chet and.
No, yeah,
he looked like he was holding his own.
Game 1, he played 29 minutes. Game 2, he played 22
I remember one of the
minutes.
games too.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2, he played 22 minutes. Game 3, he played
12 minutes.
Game 3, he played 12 minutes. Thank you. And game 4, he played 26 minutes.
And he
And
could
if you go back to the
wait.
context
But
of
he
the
couldn't guard. He
series,
couldn't
what?
guard who on the perimeter. Gifted.
Well, that's what I was about to ask. You know, what do we?
Well,
talk-
them-
Shea
them-
Gilgeous-Alexander
them
on pick and
playing
rolls.
five-
Okay, well, who
Messed
can
up.
guard Shea on the perimeter? Gifted.
You can't be guarding the way Valanciunas is as a weak link is the point. They were routinely going at him, all the time. Chill. I know what you're talking about, right? Because he had a game where he had high rebounds. He was scoring well, but it took away from the right. He was their primary offense for stretches here or there, and that was cool. But the shots that he took on top of the boards, I hear that, but they were routinely going up against him, and that type of offense isn't what the Pelicans do. That's not sustainable, and he's not a good enough player to think that he would hold that value. Because of that, if he can't be trusted to be a starting five defensively, he's not going to play that many minutes. I said that coming into the series.
Mhm.
He's good. I'm not saying he's not good, but
Right.
It's given him
Exactly.
more value than he was. So even with his rebounding and his interior presence and
Yeah.
him quote unquote bullying Chet, he was still becoming undoubtable negative on the floor because of
it's the reason why Hardenstein went for way more than Valanciunas did, because he's way more versatile. We saw his value in the playoffs too.
I think
Well,
it's a little
I'm
bit
not trying to make the comparison between Hardenstein and Valanciunas. I'm just
No,
talking
right.
about
Yeah.
their
I
value
hear
to a team. So while y'all say he got played off the court, whether that's true or not, that's neither here nor there to me. I just believe that that's a coaching thing, that's a system thing. He could if you can make different adjustments, he could stay on the floor. I think he's very valuable. If he goes to and it's one of them fit type things like we was talking about. It's a fit thing. If he goes to the right place and goes to where he's needed, someone that a coach that plays that style, that's willing to have a big man that can't guard SGA on the perimeter, which most coaches should be okay with, and we could still run different, a different set on the defensive end. He's not as good as Hardenstein today. I don't think so either. But I think he could have done better than Washington. Even feel me on this. Even if I don't know what the money look like, but a team like Miami that already has a Bam Adebayo that can play the 4, he plays a lot of 5, and I'm not thinking J Val has to play 30-40 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
one of them things where, you can play less minutes, and obviously, you know what I'm saying, we use you as you see fit. I think he could add a lot of value to a team like that.
If Memphis didn't get Zach KD, I would have liked him in Memphis. But
That's
they went and got Zach KD. So
And they're used to having him on the roster 4 and 2. Yeah, listen, I'm not saying he doesn't have any value. I'm just saying in terms of being like a high minute guy, he can't be that way in the playoffs based on his weaknesses defensively. That's all I'm saying. And
Washington might trade him too.
Yeah,
they might trade
That's
him.
what I'm about to say.
Sure.
He's not gonna make it halfway through the season over there. I don't think.
Yeah, I hope not.
Well, we said that about Malcolm Brogdon, and he spent the whole year in Portland.
Look,
But the thing is, if Valanciunas
he might play
gets
one
boards
season
and buckets there, he might raise his value.
Contract.
Okay, but see, listen, I hear you on that, but he might do that because remember, if he's putting up stats, maybe he can get more money that way on his next contract. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. I wouldn't be surprised either way that goes, to be honest.
Isn't he like 33?
31.
He is.
He came in 2011, right? So he's probably like 31, 32.
I say so he's 31.
Swipe, I was-
34. I mean,
Swipe.
I don't think he's about to raise his market
No,
value.
I'm with you.
But I mean, I can see him going. I mean, going on with the Wizards. I mean, that's probably the only thing that'll give him 10 mil that he's seen. It probably was the best deal he could get. He goes there, outplays his contract, get traded to a contender, I guess.
Maybe.
But there is another real possibility. He's just gonna spend a year in Washington. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
That's very doable.
You guys like these teams and these front offices are all smart and do the right thing and the right thing at the right time. No, if the Wizards don't feel like they're getting enough return on their investment or they're not getting enough bang for their buck, they're just gonna make them sit there and tutor Alex Sarr for a year. I can definitely see that happen.
I for sure can see that.
Is he better than Gortat?
Gortat, his ass.
Which Gortat? Magic Gortat or Wizards Gortat?
No, Wizards that ran with John Wall. Is he better than him?
No, he's not better than Wizards Gortat. No.
Now Gortat has so much. He has so much post work. So much post work that
They literally
goes
named the screen
unnoticed.
after Gortat. The Gortat screen.
I think.
But I mean, as far as being a big
side?
body down there and rebounding and even be able to stretch it out a little bit, I think I'm not going to say Gortat like clears though. I think. I like Valanciunas a lot.
What about as a defender? Is it a huge gap between those two?
Ooh. I mean,
I think he's solid on the block on the defensive end, being physical and all that. I mean, on the perimeter, guarding guards. Nah, he don't got it, but I'm fine with that though.
Swipe. The reason why I'm asking this question is because you brought up with the Knicks and being able for him to be played off the floor, and the fact that Hartenstein was able to be a better fit. And I'm thinking about the pieces that the Knicks had. I feel like they were better equipped to protect Hartenstein as opposed to what was going on in New Orleans where they didn't. So when having guys like OG, right, having guys like Mitchell Robinson, who was available, having guys like that to protect Hartenstein in pick and roll, in short rolls and things like that, and on the glass, as opposed to in New Orleans, who's protecting Valanciunas?
Who's protecting Isaiah Hartenstein?
The guys that I just mentioned.
Mitchell Robinson in the short roll.
You're saying they're he's pretty good in pick and roll regardless. He's just an overall better rim protector, like paint protector, period, than Valid. So
sure.
We just doesn't have the movement, the foot speed, and all that.
I think the scheme that Willie Green implemented, for him to have, and no disrespect, for him to have CJ, Zion, and Valanciunas, and him being able to formulate a good defense.
You're top 7 for a long ring.
That's a testament to Willie Green's schematics, in my opinion.
And can I say the same thing?
In the playoffs where kind of can't just out scheme someone if your personnel is lacking. I think.
And can't that same thing be said about the Knicks, where as good as they were and able to protect Hartenstein, the schemes that Tibbs ran, wasn't that better in terms of Hartenstein? Let's not forget, like we talk about Hartenstein, like Hartenstein is an elite big. He was a backup before Mitchell Robinson got hurt.
But he always showed value as a backup.
I mean, elite backup.
He was a very good backup.
But what I don't want to do is I don't want to overrate him into something that he's not. Like I don't want to put him in
a $30 million a year player. Me neither.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. No, Swiper. I'm not prepared to do that.
You're making $5 million less than OG.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to do that because even though he's a backup, I still saw what the value that he had. With that being said, I don't want to overvalue him neither because I know for a fact that he can. It's going to be different on this Oklahoma City team, and I do think he's going to help them. But I think it's going to be different on this Oklahoma City team.
I think
he could. Isaiah Hartenstein could come off the bench, and they could still trade for Lauri Markkanen and start Chet and Lauri if they really wanted to. That's the crazy thing about that.
That's what I'm hoping happens. Because if they got
the cap space at this point,
enough already with the Lauri Markkanen. Danny Ainge is not giving you Lauri Markkanen
for 5 first-round picks scattered across.
They have the Clippers picks, and the Clippers look like they're in disarray. They getting more. They're
not trading the Clippers picks, but those are way too value. Way too value.
If they're desperate for Lauri Markkanen,
I am keeping those keepers.
Me too. They
could trade Lou Dort and another player and then give you basically any years you want or any exchanges you want.
They have the ability to outbid anyone, but you got to look at the cap space right now and how many millions they can throw at someone this offseason. That's what we got to look at. And I think they might be done. They got their guys. They got Hardenstein and also Alex in one offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where they stop.
I mean, they've still had a really good offseason.
They didn't have to pay Alex, so I mean that's one thing. They still can go out there and pay somebody. They're not paying a lot of players. In terms of players they were paying Shea big money, and then after that, who? Gordon Hayward?
Did they trade for? Big money isn't really big money.
Big money, yeah.
They still got money to give up. I'm just saying if you view who's out there in the market at this point, it's not really much value out there that's going to be as big as those 2 players they just signed, is my point.
What if the Spurs get Lauri Markkanen?
That would be interesting.
I like that.
I love him on the Spurs.
Chris Paul, Lauri, Devin Vassell.
Bro, Wemby, Lauri back.
Are the Spurs trying to win?
Yeah, the Spurs and Golden State are both in conversation for Lauri Markkanen.
Mars, you don't think that's a winning move to get Lauri Markkanen on the crew?
I just didn't know the Spurs were trying to do that. I thought the Spurs were trying to lose. I thought they just got Chris Paul to be someone who can get Wemby the ball in good situations.
I think Wemby's that good. If you have Chris Paul, he's gonna be a monster next season.
I don't think the Chris Paul move was we're trying to win move. I think that was just we need a vet in the locker room.
That's what I thought. I'm not doing that as a win.
I think getting if they would have went to get Trae Young.
I think being in trade talk for Lauri Markkanen is a win now move.
Yeah, if they do that, then I think that's
a win now move for the Spurs. We're trying to do that.
Damo, you was talking about Trae. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was saying I was viewing Trae Young, like going to get Trae Young as the lead guard. I felt that was more of a trying to win that move. Obviously, getting Lauri would be more of a win now move. I just don't view Chris Paul as one of those moves.
You don't.
Say,
Wait.
Why did they go
what?
get Trey? I like.
What'd you
that
say?
move going to get
You say
Trey.
you don't.
I don't think
I don't
Paul
see
was
Chris
trying to
Paul
build
as
up.
one of those moves. I don't see
1,000.
Chris Paul.
Well, I think Damo, if he's healthy, and let's say like he's going to get full run and control. Like TP3 was the reason the Warriors were winning a lot of games last year because they were just much better with him on the floor than not.
No.
So
Swiper.
I think personally, and I'm not even done.
Swiper.
I've talked
Keep
2
going,
minutes
keep going,
this whole
Swiper.
show,
Keep going,
so y'all
Swiper.
gonna sit
Keep going,
there and be
Swiper.
quiet. Let me
Keep
get
going.
30 seconds.
Swiper.
I don't want to be the one to cut him off as a Warriors
On
fan.
this
but
other
I-
end,
But
I
Swiper,
think
though,
if-
right quick though, Swiper. You can have 3 minutes. You don't even gotta have 30 seconds. You can have 3 minutes, 30 minutes. Swiper. You really gonna get up out of bed, brush your teeth, wash your hands, put on that nice hat, that nice
Hours
shirt,
ago,
and shades,
hours
and all of
ago.
that,
hours ago,
and fix your mouth
walked,
to say that Chris
Made breakfast,
Paul
took
is
care of
going
the
to make a
dog.
difference for the Spurs.
did some stuff for work,
Keep going, Swiper. I'm
sent some
listening.
But he
emails
will.
in,
He will though, Ron.
working on a marketing deck. Yeah, I mean a lot. There's a lot that's happened prior to this
He
show.
helps
Ron,
locker
how will
room
Chris
wise,
Paul
but
not
on
make a difference
court,
for the Spurs? I don't understand how he wouldn't do that.
Keep
They
going,
don't have.
Swiper. I'm listening.
They don't have a player who can throw a post entry pass on the roster. Look,
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
true.
don't
Gifted.
respect
Just
Trey
finish it,
Jones.
Nuts.
Gifted.
I can't believe I'm
Just
listening
finish
to
it,
that.
Gifted. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is making
Respect Trey
this
Jones.
is taking
Trey Jones
years off my
is
life.
is that crazy?
You can throw. It's easy. It's easy to throw an entry
We
pass
don't-
when the
we don't
big
have a
shows
guy
his
on the
hands.
crew.
He's standing there like this.
That can
And they
throw
somehow
him the
failed
ball
to
on the
do it.
box. Simple, throw him the ball on the box. Simple, throw, dump the ball. If we don't have nobody on the crew can do that,
7-4.
what's
7-4,
happening
not
right
getting the ball.
now?
I
Am I in the
don't-
Matrix?
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry, Swiper.
Well, it don't matter if you
I want
ate for it.
to
If your hands are down, you can't have the ball.
keep going, Swipe, as you were saying.
No,
Please,
Gifted's
Swiper.
right. Go ahead, Gifted. Finish that. Finish that
No,
thought.
Swiper. I want to hear what you got to say about Chris Paul.
No, but Gift is right. You just throwing entry passes, just simple playmaking,
Simple things.
basic stuff, just traditional bounce passes. I mean, leadership, defensive communication, all that stuff. He's going to do all of it. And so Chris Paul, if he's healthy, say he just plays 60, 65 games this next year, he's going to average probably 12 and 8. And his numbers aren't going to bear out like overall greatness. But I just think that CP3 at $11 million a year, $10 million a year, and then doing this next to Wemby, Devin Vassell, potentially Lauri, but even for Keldon Johnson, he's going to be the best passer playmaker they've had in that building in years. So I think he's going to have a really positive impact
It's
on
the
that
best
team.
passer they've ever had.
Ever.
Better than Tony Parker.
I mean, Chris Paul.
Yeah, it's the best passer the Spurs have ever had. Yeah.
Yes. Even at his advanced age, 100%.
Is Keldon Johnson giving up number
And
3?
just,
That's
and
not
just to be clear,
100%.
the first half of the year when Chris Paul was playing for the Warriors,
This
they
version of
were
Chris Paul is
they were
not better
objectively
than
better teams
any
on the
version.
court.
Is he
No,
not, is he
well, I wasn't even gonna bring Manu to this. I wasn't gonna do that. But I'm saying, like, come on, I'm respecting Avery Anthony a lot more
as a
than y'all just
distributor,
did.
just as a
A
we
lot-
ain't talking about as a
Avery
player.
Johnson.
Just as a distributor.
Yes, Avery Johnson in
Just as a
2024. I know what we're talking
Compared to
about.
CP3?
Just as anything. I'm not gonna put 2020.
Vinny
What is
Del
it?
Negro.
What year is it?
It's going into
2024.
2025.
Yeah. Right now it's 24, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put 2024 version of Chris Paul ahead of prime Tony Parker and
Yeah, y'all
Avery
bugging
Johnson.
for real. Y'all
What's
bugging.
wrong with
Wait,
y'all?
you think Chris Paul
As
just
passer?
got worse at
Oh, what's
passing
the
basketball?
Yes, as a
I'm
all right,
taking-
cool.
I'm-
Okay,
you guys do know Chris-
we agree to disagree.
We're just
Agree to
talking about
disagree.
passing, bro. Like,
We-
I
we-
know that.
we ain't
Bravo.
talking about
I'm very
playing.
well aware of
it's
that.
just passing.
It's
How's
not
he gonna
just
pass if he
passing.
can't move?
That's literally what.
That's
That's literally what.
There's
No,
no
no.
such thing. No,
That's
Damo.
literally what
I know,
he just said.
I don't think I understand how bad the Spurs were at
know,
making
Damo,
simple
I know.
fundamental
Well,
reads.
I need you
think
to
Chris
hear
Paul
me
would
when I'm saying
absolutely
this.
aid that.
It's not. I know that we're talking about passing, but you can't say it like it's just passing. It's not
That's exactly-
just passing. The ability to move your body is the ability to find different angles. You have to still be able to move. You got to be quicker to do things. And at 37, you're not gonna do it. Like,
No. Ox 39. He turns 40 in May.
Okay, so yeah,
Does he?
I know it's just passing, but it's not just passing.
Born in 1985.
Passing isn't just easy. You can't just say, oh, you're a floor general when you're just not being able to move your body the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like things change. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Chris Paul doesn't help them or nothing like that. But what y'all just tried to pull off right there was crazy.
Oh, I agree with everything you're saying in terms of why his passing might not be what it was. I still undoubtedly think he passes the ball better than Tony Parker and Avery Johnson. But that's just an agree to disagree at that point. Manu Ginobili, have the conversation. But
Yeah,
Tony Parker
we
and
don't even
Avery
got to
Johnson-
speak about Manu. That he clear.
Yeah, I'm fine with Manu. Everyone, Boris Diaw, but like everyone else.
But even just
I just think
even
if you
in
saw-
transition, like they did not
That too.
Wemby just
I know
not
it's a
even
lot of
being
dudes
able to
in-
get the
A lot
ball
of dudes in the chat that never watched these guys play. So
and like just not even be able to get him the ball in transition, like just throwing a basic
On
alley-oop,
simple
not
reads.
seeing the reads
Simple.
beforehand. Like, yeah, CP3 is going to do all that stuff. But even for Devin Vassell, like I think he's going to help Devin a lot. They have tremendous potential, and I think that CP3 is a great move.
I think Chris Paul's a
Castle
positive
can
for the
work
roster,
for
no
him.
matter how you look at it. Like,
So is
you know, it
Keldon
works.
Johnson officially getting moved now since Chris
Who?
Paul needs that number jersey?
Oh,
Keldon
that's
Johnson.
right, Eli. Don't
Oh,
forget about
I
boys.
forgot
Yeah.
about the number. You're right about that.
Keldon Johnson have to get traded now because CP is not going any number other than.
He's very petty about that number.
If
Like,
I'm
you
Keldon,
don't
I'm
want to change
standing
the
on
number.
business.
Nah, Keldon, it might be tight. Might have to go now.
Then you will be standing in Charlotte.
Hey, what's up, LaMelo?
Is what it is. What's
Hey.
up, LaMelo?
What I do want to say though is I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on Chris Paul because I think he helps Stephon Castle. I think that's the biggest thing. I think he helps Stephon Castle. I think he helps Wemby. I think he helps like Mar said, Devin Vassell. I think he helps with all of that stuff. I just literally think how Chill always says, like he's gonna break down. I don't see Chris Paul playing throughout the whole season. And then on top of that, I just don't. They were so bad last year. I don't think he moves the needle that much unless you guys think Stephon Castle is that good.
Swipe, what kind of minutes, Swiper? What kind of minutes we talking about with Chris Paul? We'll talk about the games in a second. What kind of minutes are we talking about with Chris Paul on the San Antonio unit?
6, 8. So probably about 26, 27, 28 minutes a game.
So 6, 8. So close to 30 minutes a night on average.
Yeah, I mean that's probably about what you can ask for Chris Paul consistently. He'll play more at times, but I think he should be around 28 minutes a game. Play more in the fourth quarter.
Will he play less at times, Swiper?
Yeah, I mean depending on how the game and Castle
sure.
and the rest of Trey Jones and all the rest of them. Yeah, for sure.
I don't
There's
think
moments.
39-year-old Chris Paul is holding up playing 28 minutes a night. I don't.
I don't
Not a
think.
prayer.
But even if he can't play and he misses a month or two, the presence of Chris Paul just in the arena or in the locker room, in the training facility, just that veteran presence is something the Spurs haven't really had.
Whenever Chris Paul and Wemby are on the court together, they'll probably be at like a +8, which would be a huge
It should be
step up
good
from what they were
Yeah, it'd be
last
good.
year.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
I
don't
think
think-
that because of how good Wemby was year one, off of a bad overall situation with Chris Paul from the start, you could see a very different unlocked version of him that looks even crazier. So I don't think that's bad
If
at
Chris
all.
Paul,
for the Spurs.
if Chris Paul has the first 40 games of the year and he's hitting like 49% on mid-range shots
That's what I'm
because
saying.
he's doing that snaking and all that kind of stuff, then Chris Paul can be a trade candidate too. Because at that point, if Chris Paul looks like he's revitalized and he's healthy the first 40 games of the year, then I think somebody's going to be like, look, like, we can bring him in the building right now.
I mean, that's
That's right.
fine, but you're still not going to get much value for trading Chris Paul, though.
I mean,
But-
if you're making a run,
Revitalized?
Okay. So Swiper, to your point, if he's looking like he's snaking and knocking down that mid range, and now his trade value goes up, well, why wouldn't that have happened when he was with the Golden State Warriors?
it did happen. He got hurt. The Warriors were a bad team.
There's your
also.
problem. That's your problem,
The
right
Warriors
there.
also were just not a good team. When Steph Curry was on the court or Chris Paul was on the court,
Sure.
they were horrific, and they're going to be even worse now. So I can't really blame Chris Paul for that situation.
So now we're going to put him on a San Antonio unit where he's probably going to play, like you just mentioned.
Are
Between
they more
25
talented? Matter of fact, are the Spurs right now more talented than the Warriors are? If they lose play, if they
No,
lose
I
play.
like that.
Come on, Swiper.
So wait,
So
Draymond,
I don't know.
Moses Moody,
Wemby
Jonathan
hold weight.
Kuminga.
I want to.
Wemby do
I want to
Stephen Curry.
quickly. I
Well,
want to
I'm
quickly
agreeing.
ask Mr. Swiper a question, right? So, do you stand on the take that if you guys added Klay Thompson in place of KCP, you're a better team?
Yeah, overall, I think that his offensive value alone, their offense was the issue. It wasn't their defense. Their defense was fine.
I think
Their
statistically,
offense was the issue.
if I'm not
Wait.
mistaken,
What
KCP
do you
averaged 8
ask?
points a game in
What do
the
you
playoffs.
Watch it cut out real quick.
He asked me, do I think that the Nuggets would be better with Klay in place of KCP
okay.
right now? And I think yes, just because like KCP was a 0 offensively for most of the playoffs. I think Klay obviously like has his stretches where he's not playing well, but
so that means you get
Klay
nothing.
putting up 30%, 38% on 3 on 9 attempts a game in this system with these dudes, like, and then on top of that, like his one dribble pull ups, like his movement, the quickness he gets the ball up, like even just cutting off the basket, like he's not KCP as a defender at all. But if you're saying like collectively as a scheme, Klay, Maul, MPJ, AG, Jokic, Peyton, Christian, Julian Strother, Holmes, like they just have so much length. They'll be able to help and protect like weak side, all that other stuff. But KCP was horrific. like horrific offensively in the playoffs. And
I would've probably agreed with you.
I thought he should have resigned. I thought he should have resigned. But
I would have probably agreed with you, Swiper, if this was years earlier. Klay Thompson. I understand your offensive point. I don't think that at this stage of his career, Klay Thompson is a better mover than KCP to the basket. And I think defensively, I mean, you go from a guy who was one of the elite defenders in the league last year to Klay Thompson, who's a liability with Jokic and Jamal. Like, I think your defense suffers tremendously in those minutes with Klay Thompson now, especially not having an elite guy on the defensive end.
Well, just
that's a lot of value getting lost.
If CB's in the game, Peyton's in the game, all that depends. I just think that if you're asking me who has what's the higher ceiling based on where they are now, I think Klay will give them a higher offensive upside, but we'll see. Honestly, it really doesn't matter.
Swipe, I would agree with you in the aspect that there's a lot of ball movement in Denver, and that's conducive to Klay's offense, right? So he's not one of those guys that's going to stand on the long ball line and just catch and shoot, because I don't think that that's his game. I think he's better moving without the basketball. I think that he's better of a catch and shoot guy when he's on the move. The problem is defensively, like you just talked about, are there guys who can protect Klay Thompson? Are there guys when he gets hunted? No. Are there guys on that Denver roster who can protect him? And on top of that, the fact that you lost what you lost in one calendar year to lose Reggie Jackson, to lose Uncle Jeff.
That's not a loss. They gave him away with picks.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson isn't.
They gave him away for the
picks,
okay.
That was a whole CBA move. They didn't
lose
Brown
and
KCP,
to lose KCP and to lose Uncle Jeff. I think that's a big deal. So
Uncle
now
Jeff got $9 million a year. I mean, that's not really a loss.
I'm not even talking about the money. See,
well, they lost Blacko. Losing Blacko to ACL injury actually hurt them a lot more.
The fact that you lose that rotation and how big that those guys were for your rotation. Your first 5-6 guys were damn good. I mean, I still think Joker's the best player on the planet. The problem is
I think you said LeBron. Oh, never mind, my bad.
You didn't hear me say that. But anyway,
the comments are
we didn't hear this last week.
No, actually, the question was the best offensive player. That was the question.
And the comments are agreeing with Chill.
Yeah. I told y'all Chill was spitting right there. I told y'all I stand with Chill.
You say something positive about LeBron.
Chill, you got stands, Chill. If you say something, they're gonna agree with you. No, but I agree, Chill. They lost Bruce Brown and KCP, huge blows. 1,000.
Sure. And now to add, if you add Klay Thompson.
That defense is so bad, bro. I don't think you understand how bad that defense is.
That's where I was going.
That's an awful defense.
And Klay Thompson.
Awful defense.
Because Swiper, when you think Swiper with Strother, with Holiday, with Peyton Watson coming off the bench, like defensively, how do you like your unit with those guys?
Brown and Peyton are all really good defenders, so their defense isn't. So the thing KCP does better than Brown is going to be the off ball stuff, like the screen nav off ball, the help defense off ball. In terms of on ball defenders, like Christian is really good because he's very strong and he's very athletic. So the problem is going to be the other side. He shot 66%, I believe, from 0 to 3 feet, 8.3% from mid range.
Yeah.
That's the issue, and he shot 42% from above the break threes. He's a good 3-point shooter outside the corners, so he has to improve on the corners, and he can't hit any mid-range shots. So that's what I'm saying. That I'm not sold on Christian Brown being a starter yet, but it's not the defense, it's the offense. That's the problem with CB now. He's like way more athletic than KCP, so he's going to be flying to the rim. And so he's going to have a lot of opportunity to finish and everything else. But I'm still in the mindset. I've been very clear on this. I think Ayo Dosunmu was absolutely the player I'm going to get, and Chris Dunn.
Ayo's the guy you want to go get.
Yeah, still.
That's a great fit for the Nuggets.
Both of them.
You're not going to get him though. I don't believe.
They're great. I mean, I don't know how to describe the Bulls. How do I describe the Bulls? Incompetence isn't strong enough. They are a franchise that doesn't have clear vision and direction, and they'll get players away for free. So
I actually like where they're going now, though, because now they seem to be actually trying to move guys. They're trying everything in their power to get off of Zach LaVine.
Lakers might get DeRozan because that's what that would be insane.
Wait,
I'm gonna make a Lakers segment, but they shouldn't do that. Chicago might resign him. I don't know, like depending on the deal. But if he doesn't go back in the Lakers,
maybe
that'd be terrible.
Hey, Swapper, you said Chris Dunn. He's Chris Dunn. You talking about the kid from Utah, right?
Yeah, man, I love Chris Dunn.
Yeah, I like Chris Dunn for sure. I do. I like Chris Dunn a lot.
He's 29 too. Like he's young. Like he's very mobile. He's like 6'4.5", super long arms, really good defender.
Yeah, I like him
right now.
Huh?
Is he
He
not
is,
available?
so-
Is he a free agent right
He's
now?
a free
so
agent.
the-
Nobody grabbed him yet.
No, so the Suns apparently have looked at him, but they're looking at him, Monte Morris, and then one other guard as well to come into the building. But
Monte Morris is solid backup guard.
Mhm.
Just because they healthy last year.
Yo,
Yeah.
Damo. Want to go ahead and transition into the next player. Well, actually, the same player. We've been talking about KCP, but I know you're a big Orlando guy. What does that move? KCP played on a team like Denver, championship experience, a seasoned vet, also LA, seasoned vet. He goes down to Orlando. They signed him for 3 years, 66 mil. How you like that?
It was ironic. I was actually talking. I was in a actual debate with somebody yesterday about who would be better for the Magic, KCP or Klay Thompson. Literally in the midst of an argument, and then they signed KCP.
That's KCP.
And I figured KCP would have been the better option. The defense down in Orlando, oh my God, that backcourt. The defensive pressure of a Jalen Suggs,
Ooh,
and then
KCP and Suggs with Paolo and them. Yeah,
it's gonna be nasty. They have a guy that can hit some shots. Paolo can find another shooter. I like it. I think it's a match made in heaven. In all honesty, I think it was the perfect move for them. They got the perfect guy for them that they needed. I feel like if you replace all the Gary Harris minutes you've seen last year with KCP minutes, we have a tremendously different team. So I love it.
Do they win that first round series?
Off the strength of just having KCP, I don't think I can say yes. But
Versus
they're
who?
closer.
They took
The
a
Cavs?
did they take him seven?
It went to
I
game
can say
seven.
yes.
It went to
I
game
can say
7.
yes.
And they were winning the game before they blew the lead.
Their biggest issue was their offense not being able to really do much, and then having another defensive player in KCP. I think that would be enough to get him through that series potentially.
And if Franz just
KCP.
doesn't go 1 for 27 again.
That's what I was just about
Yeah,
to say.
Franz
But
had-
again,
yeah,
does not
yeah,
make
yeah.
up for what Franz did. No,
That
he does
too.
not.
I'm gonna say yeah. That's
No.
why I'm like I'm not gonna say just getting
No.
KCP changes all that. Like getting KCP isn't gonna change all that. That's why I'm not confident.
I know, but adding him into the team, I
Adding him
understand how
makes
bad
them
Franz
better, makes
was.
them
Like,
better.
yeah,
makes them a better team. They're a better team. They're a more dangerous team. But again, I don't think getting him is going to change everything that happened last year.
Damo, I think with KCP, I think they win at 6, possibly 5.
that's possible.
And I
I'm
do
not
want to
mad
say
at you for
this, like KCP out there guarding. Well, I mean, they got other defenders too, but KCP picking up Darius Garland or picking up Donovan Mitchell, that goes a long way. KCP really being a sniper alongside Paolo. Remember their biggest thing was shooting. Now you really got a guy that snipes, runs the floor. KCP does a little bit of everything when it comes to
And now it takes pressure off of Jalen Suggs as well, because now he has another guy out there who can help him out
You mean
on the
Anthony
perimeter
Black?
more.
It's the rise of Anthony Black this year.
Well, I mean, him too. I like him. We got to see exactly what he'll turn into. But I'm just saying, in terms of what they got in totality in the playoffs, if you add a KCP to that mix, I think the series just looks different. I do.
I mean, Damo, you've seen firsthand though. Remember when your Lakers lost KCP? You've seen a drastic difference. We're about to see with the Nuggets this year. I think, sorry to say it, Swiper, I think y'all damn near fall off a cliff without KCP, unless you guys can find somebody to really, fill in for him. But we're gonna see a huge difference with them too. So I'm just eager to see like what do the Magic look like with KCP.
I think y'all dudes is talking a lot about winning. I'm so loving the fact that KCP winning right now. Ron, I've been in the league
KCP winning easily.
Ron, I've been in the league 10 years, won the NBA championship twice. This is probably at 31 years old. This is my best time. I'm at the peak of my earning power. I'm probably not going to be able to get another deal like this moving forward. So because of that, whoever is paying the most, that's where I'm going. I already did everything else. I already won. I'm a starter on a championship team. I've been in the league 10 years. I probably got another, at 31 years old, I probably got another maybe 3 or 4 years at this level before I really start slowing down. So let me go get paid. Let me do that.
And be the vet for a young team where guys can actually look up to you. You pass the game on. It's just beautiful all around for him.
Sure. And Orlando can compete. He didn't go to Washington.
That too. That too.
Orlando
no
can
facts.
actually be a tough team to beat in the East.
I agree.
Top 5 defense this year, and they've made their defense better.
They were number 2 at one point.
And like the one thing that I think like is being not neglected, but Paolo and Franz can still just get better. Like they might just come back and be better players next season. Paolo,
I don't think Franz is as bad as we saw last year either. I think Franz would be better.
There's no way he's that bad of a shooter. He didn't forget how to shoot. I refuse to believe it. So I think Franz is going to shoot the ball better. Paolo going to get better in terms of his decision making, more assertive on his drives. Hopefully becomes a better free throw shooter. Like, there's so many things they can all get better at. Jonathan Isaac, hopefully more healthy.
If Jonathan Isaac actually logs more minutes, that defense might be the best in the league, bro.
I might see more. We might see more Jonathan Isaac at 5 minutes this year, depending on like matchups and stuff.
March, that's gonna be a demon lineup. You got J.I. at the 5. Whoever, let's just say Thugs at the 1. KCP at the 2, and then you got Paulo and Franz. Like, that's nobody wants to see that.
Yeah,
nobody. No weak links like that for real.
Yeah. If Paolo's probably your worst defender, I think you're in a good spot.
You're doing something right.
Yeah, I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah, they're going to be a first. Though it depends on who they play, but they'll be first round out for the Knicks, for the Celtics, and for the 76ers. But they would be a very tough first round out, depending on their seeding.
At this point in the timeline, being a tough team to beat is like good pause.
Well, they were a tough team to beat last year. Yeah.
Should have won.
Magic might get that 3 or 4 seed. They might not have to see them to the second round.
The word that you said you were looking for the Bulls, that because you don't think that it was a strong enough word. How about amateurish? How about how you feel about that word?
Yeah, I mean, didn't they? Who they just signed?
They signed a big, but I can't. Who was it? I've seen it. I can't.
Jalen Smith.
Yeah, Jalen Smith for $7 million a year.
Yep, 3 years. The same deal Najee Marshall got.
Yeah, I just
3 years, 27.
Yep,
that's being a top 10 pick too, right there. That helps you over the course of your career. I just don't think he's a good player, but I think he's growing and developing. Jalen, he's much better than he was when he got in the league. I just don't think he's a good player. But yeah, I just don't think the Bulls are competent. Like, all due respect, like I really just truly. And on top of that, like they can't get rid of Zach LaVine. And people have asked me multiple times now, would you trade for Zach LaVine and Io? And if I was another team and you're giving me Zach LaVine and Io and a first round pick, sure, 1,000%.
Well, the Warriors had a chance to get him.
I feel like the tides have turned too much on Zach LaVine. I understand saying he's overpaid. I understand saying he's overpaid. But them acting like his contract is immovable.
Right.
I feel like I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's shifted the tide so far the other way for Zach LaVine. But I feel like whichever team does get him, since the Bulls are just trying to get rid of him, you're not going to have to give up too much. They're getting a really good player. Zach LaVine is a really good player.
Great spot.
The Warriors said no for Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins for Zach LaVine.
Domo.
Yeah, and I don't understand.
Domo, I need you to understand something. The fact that the Bulls called the Warriors saying, listen, we could do Chris Paul or listen, Chris Haynes said straight up. They were talking about doing like Chris Paul or maybe even Andrew Wiggins straight up. And the Warriors said it's not feasible. I'm like, woof.
Yeah, I like the way they talk. You think he's making like 50 million? Like, I get 40.
It's really not that bad.
I get
well, no, my bad. It is that bad.
There's like 3 years, 40, 43, something like that. I get it. But Zach LaVine is an elite player, in my opinion. I feel like this last season has kind of clouded everyone's judgment. He's not going to be what he was in like 21-ish, whatever year he was like crazy. But he's a very good scorer. Off the ball, on the ball, can get to the rim, shoot the 3, not much in the mid-range, can make basic reads. And also, he wasn't a defensive liability. Now, he's not very good, but he's not a liability out there. Like, I feel like there's uses for that type of player in the league somewhere. But I guess not. I guess I'm missing.
The Warriors said no to Zach LaVine and missed out on Paul George. Y'all deserve to be in shambles.
No, for real. Like, what are y'all doing?
They need to trade Steph. I ain't gonna lie. They just wasted. I'm glad
all this is happening. Y'all literally turned down the chance to get Zach LaVine to pair somebody with Stephen Curry to help him go forward. And they said, no, we're good. We'll just let Chris Paul walk for nothing, and we'll keep a regressed Andrew Wiggins.
And they didn't move Chris Paul at the deadline either.
I was thinking about that yesterday. Andrew Wiggins is the first guy I've seen regress. He was a
regress is crazy.
That regressed from his original ceiling. Got to the Warriors, had to come back in 22 and regressed again. I've never seen it. And y'all said no to trading him for Zach LaVine. Factory of sadness for another 20 years. Has to be.
And Chris Paul, though, Damo. They just let Chris Paul walk out the door.
Yeah, they said, no, we're not going to take Zach LaVine. We'll just waive Chris Paul.
Bro, they literally they literally say, you know what, bro?
Okay. First of all, let's not make it look like they just let Chris Paul walk out the front door. I mean, even though on the one hand, Damo, they did, but that was $30 million that they did say that they don't have to pay Chris Paul. Don't leave that part out. That's pretty important to mention that part.
But that's why you need to trade it because they have salary
for a 39-year-old.
No.
Paying him
100%. But you got to use the salary to do something. You trade for Chris Paul to use his salary to flip into some type of asset. The fact that the Bulls call you and say basically straight up, we'll do it, and you say no, you're basically saying we don't want to give up Chris Paul or Andrew Wiggins for a really good player who can literally run the same sets Klay Thompson did. Maybe even, more crisp because he can actually get downhill. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't at least entertain that.
But wait a minute. The idea that, okay, you move off of Chris Paul and you don't have to pay him that $30 million. Okay, you letting Klay walk because you actually offered him 48 for 2 years and he passed on that. So you're letting him walk. I think the Warriors, I think the Warriors' idea is they think with that money that they've saved that they could possibly bag a free agent. I think that's the idea, which I don't know. Who
are the guys?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how feasible that is, but I think that they think they could bag a guy. That wasn't my issue. My issue was them turning down. My issue was the Clippers. Mm-hmm. The Clippers, the Warriors wanted Paul George. They offered JK. They offered JK. They offered Andrew Wiggins. I believe they offered like 2 or 3. I believe they offered some draft picks. And the Clippers said, we are not giving you Paul George. That's it. We're not doing that.
And then lost him for nothing.
That's all it was. That's all it was, Ron. It was nothing. It wasn't because the money didn't work. It wasn't because we are not giving you Paul George. We'll let him walk out the front door before we give him to you. We're not doing that.
And that's just bad business, though. Like that's just awful business. Terrible. Because you trade for Harden under the assumption that all three together we can do something with this team, right? We traded all of these picks for Paul George and Kawhi, not just Paul George, to get Paul George and Kawhi Leonard in the door. You re-sign Kawhi Leonard, Paul George is there. You don't want to offer it to him. Now Paul George walks. I'm pretty sure Harden is getting traded mid-season. I will bet on that. Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes, Domo. Yes. Why not?
Okay, first of all,
because go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm eager to hear this. Go ahead.
I'm all ears.
Very simple. It's very simple. Steve Ballmer needs to sell tickets in the stadium.
That's number one.
And you literally got Kawhi Leonard over here with the assumption that you're gonna have a guy with him. And I mean, I don't know how people feel about James Harden compared to Paul George, but to me, I mean, it don't matter who you have better than the other. The gap isn't significant, in my opinion, between Paul George and James Harden. That's what I would say. And the fact that they brought back James Harden for the money they brought him back to, they brought KPJ, they brought Derrick Jones. I knew Paul George was walking. You just need a guy there. Now, if Russ walked, if James walked, yes, Kawhi's out of there. It's over, blow it up. The fact they brought back James Harden for what they did, he's staying there for, I would assume he's there for 2 years unless he forces his way out.
No.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the reason why I disagree the reason why I disagree, Domo, is this notion about the area and like their new arena being their huge main focal point. If that's the case, they would have kept Paul George and rolled it out. The fact that Harden signed a 1-for-1 deal, we've seen this before, where Harden has been on a 1-for-1 deal with the player option. It makes him much more tradable. And more importantly, if you're James Harden, if you start the season where it's you and Kawhi Leonard, who's been injury prone, and you wind up in the same situation as you were in Brooklyn, are we surprised that James Harden gets traded? No, because we've seen it happen before. So it's not just, they don't have a choice. He literally has a 1-for-1 deal. That is the most tradable type of contract for a James Harden type player. Sure, it wouldn't surprise me if he asked out.
And that doesn't surprise me either. Him asking out, that's not what I'm against. I'm against the thought process that the Clippers are bringing him back with the intentions of moving him before the deadline to get something more favorable for them.
But they brought him back to at least keep the asset. You keep the asset. Unlike Paul George, for whatever reason.
But the only way he gets traded is if he wants to leave. He leaves on his terms. I don't think this is a situation where, like with the Wizards getting JV, okay, we're gonna let him play up his contract to get better assets from a contending team that wants him because they see how he's playing. Because we got Sarr, we got Holmes, we have other guys. So keeping him isn't ideal. I think keeping him is ideal for the Clippers. The Clippers do want to ride out with him for a year, at least for this year. They're not just getting him. They didn't bring him back with the intentions of, let's see who wants him by the deadline. That's what I'm saying.
I think they brought him back because Harden wanted to get paid, though. Like it has less to do with them trying to.
That's the problem right there.
Yeah,
what you just said.
He wanted to get paid, not the Clippers. It's because Harden wanted his $35 million. Because remember, he took less initially, which got him in this overall situation, right? So now that he's in this new situation, hey, I don't know what's gonna happen with Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, but I don't want to do this thing where I take all this again. I'll take 35 now. I'll have a player option. So if I get hurt or something, I can opt in and secure that money, or you can trade me somewhere else and then another team will extend me for what I want. That's what's going to happen. I think the way his contract is set up, I really do not see him spending his next 2 years on this team. He will be traded in whatever capacity or opt out. If you want to say he'll be there the whole year, fine. But I truly feel like the type of deal that he has based on Harden's past and based on what this Clippers roster is looking like, he will be gone. I do believe that.
Fellas, before we talk about the Paul George move, before we talk about some other moves that were made as well and talk about those fits, I want to get into these super chats. I want to shout out to everybody that's in here. I want to shout out to everybody that's up here on the panel. Appreciate you guys always coming up here, giving you good takes and allowing me to make my bad takes. And furthermore, too, y'all subscribe if you haven't subscribed and become a member as well. As for these super chats, I'm going to start from the top. Gandhi KV2 said, well, we ain't seeing the greatest offensive player in the Western Conference Finals ever again.
Ever again?
Oh, they're talking about
Jokic or Luka?
You talking about
You're definitely not talking about Luka because most people think Luka's gonna whatever.
So does that mean ever again or with Denver? I mean, damn, that's ever like.
Well, he's staying in Denver.
That's what I'm saying. So is his career over? So they never getting back again.
Apparently,
I don't like what they're doing building around Jokic, but what do I know?
It's a much worse roster.
Yeah, I think their argument is that if we do the second apron with KCP and sign him more than what Orlando offered, that gives you no flexibility if in case somebody gets hurt and you can't make any maneuvers. Because at that point, because of the second apron, I'll read exactly to you what happens with that point in the second apron. When you are in the second apron, you hard cap. You cannot use your tax MLE. Cannot aggregate 2 or more player salaries in a trade, cannot send cash out in a trade. You cannot acquire a player using the TPE that was created via a previous sign-in trade. You can only, in the second apron, re-sign your own free agents, sign your draft picks, sign minimum contracts, and make trades where 1 player salary is sent out and equal or less salary comes back in that deal. So this is also from Keith Smith, by the way. So the second apron literally prevents you from doing anything.
Don't leave out. I think you left out Swiper. You have no room to sign any MLEs, neither. None.
There's your full MLE, which is 12. You have the mid-level, which is about 7 or 8. Then you have
like the biannual, right?
Yes, and then you have your tax your tax exemption MLE, which is 5.2. Sure. You can't do any of that.
None of that.
In the second apron.
All of that, that goes out. That goes out.
Yeah, that's gone. That second apron is dangerous. It's like you only go all in on that second apron if you know, like, we got one of them type of squads.
If you know you got a player.
Teams, Ron, teams are doing the best that they can to stay away from that second apron. Teams are doing the best that they can to stay away from that second apron because they know for a fact if we go over that, that's why the Warriors. That's why
they get rid of Jordan Poole.
Yes, that's why and that's why they stepped off of Chris Paul too, because that $30 million was going to be that $30 million that they were going to have to pay him was going to be a big deal. I think the Warriors is like $212 million in the luxury tax.
They're way over it. Like that.
215 million in the luxury tax. We can't keep doing that every year. That's just not good for business. It's terrible.
Well, they're trying to get off of the repeater tax because for years they've been on that and chill. I 100% hear that. But my thing is, if you're trading for Chris Paul to basically dump the 4 years of Poole's contract, the goal should be to turn that into other players that either make you better or potentially just have more flexibility. Chris Paul walking for nothing gives you the chance to reset and get off of the repeater tax after the season, but you also fail to turn that into a viable player to make you a better team. There's a chance that this roster outside of a few young players making that leap, could be worse than last year, and that's really saying something.
I'm just having a difficult time thinking that the Bulls would really hand over Zach LaVine for Chris Paul. Y'all would really do that?
They were down.
Y'all was really going to do that, and
they said no, and the Warriors said no. It's not feasible.
That does sound crazy.
I crashed out yesterday.
The only reason why is because of the money. It was no other
injury history. Even though he played 77 games the year before that.
Right. The only reason why that I'm thinking Swiper is because the advanced age that he is now at 38, 39 years old, and the fact that he was on the books for how much he was on the books for. The Bulls didn't think that was realistic. If you're doing that, and if we're thinking long term, because if we get Chris Paul on the crew, if we're being honest, I mean, we're not doing anything with Chris Paul on the crew. He doesn't make us significantly better in the Eastern Conference.
But
he doesn't make us a playoff team. No, he doesn't.
But chill. But and this might be cold-blooded. It's not about that. It's not about whatever Chris Paul does on the floor. It's about trading for Chris Paul's salary. So now you have that expiring off of your books in your offseason. So now in free agency, you have $31 million or however much he had to play with in cap to sign other good players. That's the value of an expiring contract. It has nothing to do with how good or bad Chris Paul. Listen, They can trade for him. He'll be at home the entire year. But when they hit free agency, that cap space they can have to go get a player they might want.
Also,
that's the value of it.
Ron, I don't know. There's one of the comments to close out the last conversation. I think Saul Cool or whatever. If Luka lost KCP and Jeremy Grant to other teams, y'all would say no one wants to play with Luka. I just want to clarify this. So this is now 3 players that has gotten $20 million+ contracts from playing in Denver for 1 or 2 seasons. That's Jeremy Grant, who had no value. He got traded for a first-round pick the year prior.
He got
came in, played with the Nuggets, got $20 million. And then Bruce Brown. Yeah, remember he was a single first-round pick from the Thunder.
It wasn't from him playing with Denver. He went to play with Detroit and showed he was. Well, no. I lied. You're right. I
almost punched you right.
You're right.
You're
right. I caught myself in a stupid opinion.
So you just want to be argumentative.
Keep going, Swiper.
It was Jeremy Grant. I didn't talk to you much this episode. I thought Damo and I were. That's what I'm saying. Jeremy Grant, $20 million a year. And they matched it, but he wanted to be number 1 scorer. Bruce Brown, they could have offered 7.7. He got $22.5 million a year for 2 seasons, basically 2 seasons. And then now KCP got 3 years, 22 at 31 years old, with an option, a player option on the 3rd year. So that's what I mean. Like that's just stuff. That's all that is like outside the realm of even like consciousness. And then Jeremy Grant has shown at this point in time, he mostly is concerned about like, I want to score and I want to do whatever I want to do. Like that's where he is in his career. That's why teams saying like, oh yeah, let's trade for Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant has always been very open. I don't want to be a 4th option. He has said this multiple times. Like this is something that's well known around the league. He does not want to be a 4th option. And so he got $180 million with the Portland Trail Blazers because he's in a great situation. He could score, put up shots. And then with Detroit, it's the same thing. He's making $240 million in a 6-year span to be a bad number 2 option. And with Bruce and KCP, I mean, that's just the cost of doing business. But that's just the thing, bro. Like that's what I will say. If you come and play in Denver in that system, you're gonna eat because everybody eats. It's a selfless system. Everyone will eat. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I just think it's I think the money and the way the CBA and stuff is working now, the restrictions that are out there for teams, like it just makes everything that much more difficult to retain talent when you're playing well. So,
Swiper. So what you're saying is the magician of Jokic is he made these dudes look so good.
I mean that's a part of it, but it's a team.
He made these dudes look so good. And I'm not saying this to combat you because I agree. He made these dudes look so good that they went out and quadrupled their worth in the market just by playing.
They quite literally did. Like they quite literally came into a system. Remember, Bruce Brown going into that season, nobody thought he could play point guard because he hadn't played point guard since Detroit. And then he was a 4 when he played with the Nets. And then he played backup point guard and the switch Army Knights all the way around and gets 20+. So yeah, I mean across the board, like there's just if you step into that system as a guard, and especially like a primary defensive guard or a two-way guard that Bruce Brown was or whatever else it is, and you're a ball handler, playmaker, and all that, yeah, then you come to Denver, you're getting paid. That's just because you're going to look good.
Plus, nobody when KCP opted out of that deal. What was the market for KCP? It wasn't like, oh, KCP he opted out of this deal.
They got him from Monte Morris and who's the second player in that? Monte Morris and Will Barton for KCP. Barton.
And when that happened, like it wasn't a line of suitors for KCP. We heard Orlando. That's where he ended up going.
Mm-hmm.
That was it, right? So with that being said, I mean, Joker has a tendency to increase your value. No, there's no arguing that. Now, the idea that, you know, guys don't want to play with Luka. Don't get me wrong. DJJ just signed a $30 million deal with the Clippers. So Luka did have something to do with that. I'd like to think that Luka did have something to do with him getting paid. But more times than not, your game has to change to play with Luka. More times than not.
One thing I want to say about like the first apron and the second apron and just the way things are structured, I like the fact that it puts pressure on the GMs. Like obviously, like the players got to play and you gotta do your thing on the court. But now you GMs got to actually GM off the court.
Yep.
Like you guys got to take this serious. You guys got to think strategically. You guys got to think logically. You guys got to be a couple steps ahead. Like the KCP move might have actually been smart. Like we wasn't trying to go in the second apron now. We didn't want to handicap ourselves, but we're thinking a couple moves ahead. Christian Brown got to play a little bit more. Julian Strawther got to play a little bit more. Some of these other guys got to play a little bit more. But now we got some cap space, so either A, we can make a move, or B, we can sign a free agent, or we just thinking a couple steps away. And I mean, it's like maybe we're not that good for this next year or two, but 3 years from now we'll be able to, you know, make a power play and re-up.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they can afford to do that. Now that second part is what they're not going to do. There is no, we cannot, because they're going to win. The frustrating thing about the Nuggets, and this is where the Booth perspective comes in, because Jokic is like so good as a floor raiser, they're going to win probably 55 games again. The problem is versatility in the playoffs. That's why they have to make, at least in my estimation, 2 additional moves in order to get another shooter and then to get a real guard, like a real backup point guard, which for me is Chris Dunn or Io. But that's just me. That's me personally.
Right.
If they do that, then I can believe like holistically, because Chris Dunn and Io can play next to Jamal, and it's about protecting Jamal defensively because he doesn't need to be the primary defender. Just same thing. Jalen Brunson doesn't need to be the primary defender. He needs to be the primary playmaker on ball and primary scorer. And then Russell Westbrook too. Somebody said Russell Westbrook too. Any one of those 3 would work next to Jamal.
So 2 things, Swiper. So number one, with KCP opting out of this deal, it was smart on his part, because if I opt into this deal, depending on what we do next year, and we end up, let's say we're a second round exit, we were one of the worst long ball shooting teams. Me going into a contract year next year, I'm not going to be as viable next year as I was this year. My earning power probably wouldn't be as high. 1, I'm going to be a year older. 2, we didn't go as far as people thought we were going to. 2, we didn't go as far as people thought we were going to go, which ultimately didn't make me look good, which is why I looked good the year before when we won the NBA championship. So the fact that he ends up basically betting on himself and getting paid and maximizing his earning power, I think that's great. Now, the flip side to that is when you think about what what the Denver Nuggets, what they now have to work with. What they now have to work with, and just from a money standpoint, okay, you just re-upped Joker. Aaron Gordon is still on the books past this season.
Deal this summer,
right? He's still on the books past this season. The core of your unit, with the exception of KCP, is still on the books past this season.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is what can you do to upgrade the rotation? I still believe in your starting 5. Even though KCP is out of the lineup, I still believe in your starting 5. The question is what can you do to increase your rotation and to make your rotation better? Because we're talking about a Denver Nuggets unit that goes 6-7 deep. I think it needs to be more than that.
Yeah, so the plan that they have in mind is, I don't think it's going to be Jalen. It can't be Jalen Pickett, but Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, Holmes, and Blanco will be their rotation bench. Peyton and Christian obviously, and then Julian did play last year. He just has to shoot more. He's a shooter. He was a sniper in college. He shot 29% from 3 last year on 3 attempts a game. That's going to have to go up across the board. But if they get if for me, this is for me. I have been clear on this for a while. I know what their weaknesses are. Just like Damo knows what LeBron's weaknesses is on his teams. You're aware of them. Like same thing with Steph Curry. They need primary defenders at the guard spot. So for me, if they get Chris Dunn and they got Julian Strawther and Peyton Watson and Zeke and Deron Holmes, then that's enough. That's enough to do what they need to do. It's just that the Nuggets starters in the second round underperformed last year, and I think some of that's because they were gassed. They played over 150 more minutes than the next closest 5-man unit in the sport.
Comes in.
So they have to get their youngins more time. It's really just that simple.
With that being said, really quickly, Ron, with that being said, and there was a guy that I was thinking about, and I don't know if this is feasible, but how you feel about Gary Trent in Denver?
How much is he going to get on the open market right now?
That's what I'm thinking, man. Because him as a free agent, he wanted a better rotation.
He had 19 mil. So
yeah, he's one of the better rotation players in the game. So if I think about him, like, is he in the same? Is he better than like Norman Powell? Is he better than Malik Monk? I'm thinking about a rotation guard. Malik Monk, right. Norman Powell. Is he better than those guys? In that Denver system, I'm talking about. I ain't even talking about as players. I'm talking about in that Denver system. Is he better?
I mean, his main value would be shooting and spark plug scoring at times, for real. I mean, he's okay defensively. He has moments where he's not great. He's kind of mid. Mars, are you okay? What?
If you think he's okay, you think he's okay. I'm not about to have Gary Trent.
Norman?
Gary Trent.
Gary Trent Jr.
You know.
I think he's just bad, but like I'm not about to be like, oh, Gary Trent. No, the reason he's bad on defense. Like,
I'm just saying he got moments. He's not
compared to who, Mars. Like when you say
he's not a good defender
compared to who.
I don't know. You just
is he on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Is he below a 5?
Yes.
How much below a 5?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh damn. Go ahead and give him
2.5, 3. 2.5, 3. He's a bad defender. In my opinion.
How much better do Jordan Clarkson?
I just think he has moments. I don't think he's good.
How much better is Jordan Clarkson than who?
Than Gary Trent.
As a player? Or
is it just the ball handling?
Well, the creation and getting others involved, Jordan Clarkson would be better. But knocking down open shots, Gary Trent, one of the best in the league. So
that's why I think he's good on Denver. I think he'd be good with you guys.
So their defense is going to be so bad in all of these potential like.
But that's the thing. It's not
defense.
Though.
It is though.
That's the opposite. Like the Nuggets, their issue I think is similar to what the Mavs thing was in the finals. Except they don't have a Luka on their roster, like getting blown by. The Nuggets don't struggle defensively as much as they're struggling with their shot making down the stretch of some of these games in the playoffs. Like the issue was they literally versus the Wolves couldn't score outside of 2 players the entire second half. Their defense was fine. They gave up 98 points or whatever else it was, and they stopped them on multiple occasions. But when they went dry from Michael Porter, from KCP, and Aaron Gordon, I think Aaron Gordon had 0 points. Like that can't happen. And then they didn't have another player on the bench that could be a facsimile for Jamal as a ball handler and get anything.
Yeah.
So I'm saying if they got one more player like in that vein, that's way better than better than Reggie Jackson. Like again, they could ostensibly make a trade based on where they are right now by combining that. They have enough room where if they wrote into the Reggie Jackson trade, combined Zeke Najee's contract, they could afford with some other moves. They could afford about 17 mil plus the first round pick, so they could get both.
No, I hear that, Swipe, but like my problem is like they didn't have like a Luka level defender on the perimeter getting blown by because at the rim you had no rim protection, right? Like the difference is Dallas has a roster of players that have multiple wing sizey, bigs who can actually cover ground and rim protect at the basket. If you lose KCP,
the rim is the other equation. I think that's what the Nuggets' whole defense is predicated on. Obviously, they have the worst rim protector among any contending team. And that's always going to be the case. But they have great rim protection because they don't allow for you to get to that spot. So,
but they were bleeding right. But later in the playoffs, they were bleeding that value against the Wolves. We saw that down the stretch.
That was because, and that's also KCP's fault. That was some of Jamal's fault. They weren't on the perimeter. Yeah. They were including KCP, and obviously everybody knows I think KCP is the first team all defense defender. But let's just call it what it was. He was not closing out correctly over the last stretch of that fourth quarter. And so that's an effort thing for me. Like if you're in your place, you're boxing out, you're keeping people from getting to the spot, that's fine. And then on top of that, no one was rebounding. Jokic had 19 rebounds in game 7. But again, they were up 20 points.
You got to close it. I know. But listen. Before we go back down that road, my point to you, Swiper, is bringing in a Klay Thompson, bringing in a Gary Trent Jr., and losing KCP and having a full season of that against younger teams who are more athletic. You're giving them more defensive liabilities to pick apart to get to the rim.
They wouldn't start, though, just to be clear. They wouldn't start.
They don't have to start. Losing KCP in a vacuum is going to impact your defense tremendously. And then when those players check in and there's still no KCP to make up for it, your defensive floor drops tremendously. That's what I'm saying.
Swiper, I'm running a poll and I need you to answer this question.
What's the poll?
It's very simple. Are the Nuggets cooked right now?
No. That's why I really try not to be reactionary. That's such a ridiculous assertion, given the fact they're going to have the best player in every series they're going to be in still. They're still going to have their core four intact. They're still going to be bigger than basically everybody. It's about getting your fifth starter and your sixth guaranteed player off the bench in order. But Christian Brown in the playoffs, in the Minnesota Timberwolves series, was better than KCP. And he shot better, like, as well. Like, KCP was a direct negative. And so, but I'm saying, like, that was one series. He was really good versus the Suns, really good versus the Lakers, and he was really good versus the Heat. So he has it in him to be good, but so has Christian. I think the other end of it is you have to get a six-man in place that you want to consistently trust, and then you also just need to make sure that you're fortifying the guard rotation and the big rotation, which is they're going to have Holmes, they're going to have Zeke, and they're going to have Najee, and then Najee probably gets traded away. So it really all just depends. But if you're saying that, like, your fifth and sixth option are the difference between you being cooked, like, what is at that point what is being cooked? Like, are they not contenders anymore? Then we're just disagreeing. But I think they need to be better, though, to win a title. So I've also been consistent with that.
What's up, Damo? You good?
Oh no, DeLon Wright just went to the Bucks.
For what?
Solid for the Bucks.
1 year, $3.3 million.
3.3.
Wait, who signed him to who?
Bad, bro.
DeLon Wright.
The Bucks signed DeLon Wright. Yeah,
that's a good get for them.
That's not bad for them at all.
Welcome
with the money they have.
Malik Beasley. I mean, yeah.
All right,
they made some out of nothing, so
Back to these super chats. I got a couple new members that joined today, and I got a couple member super chats. Let's go ahead and honor these guys for pulling up and joining the PC family. Dave 100 times live became a member today. Shout out to Dave 100. Appreciate you for coming through.
All right. I think now I can reveal this. No, hold on. Here, let me make sure. Hold on.
Weedy Jenkins also became a YouTube member today. Shout out to Weedy Jenkins. And it sounds like Swiper's about to drop us some breaking news.
A Woj bomb.
A swipe bomb?
Incoming Jalen
Pickett bomb.
Wait.
All right. Mad Max Sports Talk said Jokic for sure. Down bad. What's FC?
Fan club.
FC's fan club.
Jokic fan club down bad. And I'm here for it. You see this?
Yes. It is
down bad.
It's public information now. Jokic has gone directly to the front office and he's asked for Russell Westbrook. So this is like that's.
Hey, make sure you kill Jokic like you killed LeBron.
Right.
So
Make sure you kill Jokic like you killed LeBron.
Get it, Damo. That's right, Damo.
Yeah, for a backup guard. And again, I think if everybody's doing the math right, and honestly, this is the real question: who is the best approximation for Bruce Brown? Do you think among the guard position in the league right now? That's available.
Oh, because I was gonna say like
that's
Give me
available.
a second. I got the free agent tracker up right now. Let me find guards I'd rather have than Russell Westbrook.
No, I said for what he does. For what he does.
For what he does.
For Bruce Brown, like a Bruce.
I got you. Compared to Russ, so nothing. All right, here we go. Amari Bailey.
You're
doing too much.
Brandon Boston's available.
Brandon Boston.
Alec Burks still available. J.D. Davidson available. Spencer Dinwiddie available. Your guy Chris Dunn. On any earth, I would rather have Chris Dunn than Russell Westbrook. That's just me.
Offensively, no. Defensively for me, yeah. I
Markel Fultz, unrestricted free agent. He's available. Rather have him. If he's healthy, rather have a healthy Fultz. I'm not gonna lie to you. Give me Aaron Holiday before I get Russell Westbrook. Just saying.
Aaron, not Aaron.
This is disgusting,
Aaron,
Damo, but keep going.
Yeah, I didn't ask Damo.
Ron is so funny, bro.
I didn't ask Damo for a reason. I'm asking the other unbiased basketball non-LeBron James fans.
He gave you 50 last year. I'll take Malachi Flynn.
Okay.
Charlie Brown Jr.
Yes.
I don't even think he played for the Knicks last year, but I want him because he wasn't.
This is for TikTok content. Yeah.
I promise you. There's so much.
He actually means this. He's actually dead ass serious about what he said.
Listen, man.
Charlie Brown, the cartoon.
Who is David Duke Jr.? I don't know, but I'll take him before.
He's been with Andrew for like 5 years now. He actually means this
You know who
shit.
David Duke is?
Dude, I'll take before Westbrook. That's who he is.
I'm not, Damo, knowing you and your background, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Crazy. He went to the front office. That's what you go to the front office for? Did you ask for Westbrook?
Who's
Wait,
he
was
gonna
your
ask
bomb
for,
about Westbrook?
Is he gonna ask for?
He could ask for somebody off the Serbian national team.
Is he gonna ask?
No,
Micic?
You think Micic should be good in Denver?
Yeah,
Don't even lie. 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 No, he would not. Because he can't play. He can't shoot and can't play defense.
Swiper.
He just can't shoot.
Apparently, he can't
play any defense.
He just had a bad year.
I thought Campazzo was better than Westbrook. When Campazzo,
All right, that's what I'm saying. You're all
I
right.
promise you.
But he's a known hater. Like if Domo talking about Russ, like we don't need to take it serious. We know he a hater.
No, he can't stand Russ. We do know that. That's not.
But if Jokic thinks he can make Russell Westbrook work, let's call it.
I love to see it.
He trying to show that he can do what LeBron couldn't do. That's what he's really trying to do right now.
Oh man,
he's like LeBron couldn't make it work, but I guarantee I will.
That's what he's disgusting right now. Open gym. Hey, y'all stock is rising right now, but y'all nasty.
That's what he's trying to do.
Bro,
you guys
I cannot imagine Jokic leaving non-basketball to come back and say, "Oh yeah, I want Westbrook." Like that. That's his first thing he's doing.
The landscape of the NBA, and he's like, "Nah."
You can't believe what?
Open up. We need Russ. Like what?
You can't believe what?
I can't believe Jokic is leaving the non-basketball stuff to come back to ask for Russell Westbrook.
What can't you believe? What do you mean? You're saying you can't believe he wouldn't?
I thought he'd be in limbo.
I'm coming right
Jokic,
back. Hey.
There's another misnomer about Jokic that when he goes back to Serbia that he's disconnected. Joker is what I'm saying. Joker has been a consistent like basketball head. It's just he doesn't do the media side of it. So 1000%, bro. Like and again, I think based on what I said last year, again, this is a non-Damo influence take. Is Russell Westbrook surrounded by this roster will be a better player? But again, he's still going to have.
You did say that last year.
Yeah, he's still going to have his flaws. I 1000% agree. Again, but if you're asking me between Jalen Pickett and Russ, I'll take Russ every single time. Every time.
I love how y'all think that Joker, when he goes to Serbia, he ain't doing nothing but being with them horses. Like he don't pick up a basketball. He ain't.
That's not my point. No.
Horses.
That's it.
Chill. I'm saying the first thing him doing after everything we saw overseas to come back and saying, "I want Westbrook." I want to think that's his first thing he's trying to attack.
That's his first.
That's all I'm saying.
It wasn't just Westbrook though. He said Westbrook and Klay.
It's
Westbrook and Klay.
I didn't know that. Okay,
he's trying to say, "Hey, I can do what Steph Curry can't do. I can win with Wash Klay."
I
can win with Wash Klay.
I'm trying to slide that in there. Swiper came in with the breaking news.
He tried to say and Klay. All I heard was Westbrook.
Did not add Klay.
I mean, with that being said, though, like I like Russ over there coming off the bench. Like Swiper just said that their biggest thing was shot creation.
They don't have anybody that can attack the rim. No one.
Yeah, when Jamal Murray's not on the floor or when Jokic isn't on the floor, it's like Russ.
I mean, these Russell Westbrook rim splits. I need y'all to look at these rim splits, man. Like, it's pretty bad.
We don't need him to get there and finish. We need him to get there.
Yeah. And also they're not going to have a center in the paint. Just to be clear, again, understanding that the context of playing with Denver, there's no center.
He wasn't
anywhere near the rim.
Huh?
None.
He wasn't bad with the Clippers. That's
year one
in the regular season. Yeah, I agree. In the regular season,
in the regular season, he was not bad with the Clippers.
But then when it came,
it's gonna be interesting to see how is David Adelman still on your coaching staff, Swiper, or is he leaving?
Is he?
David Adelman, yeah, he is.
Okay.
It's gonna be interesting to see what type of alignments they come up with to make Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and Russell Westbrook work. It's gonna be interesting to see.
That is so fucking. Oh man,
it's gonna be
a dunker spot.
Nah,
I'm curious to see what they do. I'm curious.
I truly don't really do Russell narratives on here because again, I think if you're
that's not a narrative. Russ and Gordon will be treated as non-spacers.
I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Russ and Gordon will be treated as non-spacers. That's not a narrative. That's a thing that's going to happen to the roster if they're on the floor together. We've seen it multiple times. We saw it in the playoffs this year. We even saw it with Gordon by himself in the Wolves series towards the end of the series. Do you disagree with that?
Disagree with what? Gordon shot 43% in that series, 53% from 3 in that series.
Doesn't make him a spacer.
That's fine. Was he a spacer or not, Swiper?
Was he functionally? Yes. That's not why they lost. So they think he did his job. So I'm saying that
was he guarded like a spacer? Yes or no? Come on now. You know this isn't a deep question. Was he treated with respect like a spacer?
Did he hit the shots as opposed to how he was?
No, I'm not asking about any hit shots. I'm asking you straight up. Was he guarded like a spacer? Yes or no?
No, and he killed him for it.
Oh, that doesn't matter. We live with Aaron Gordon killing you. That does not matter. No, it doesn't.
That functionally is why they were up 18.
If you're functionally not a spacer, you're not getting.
But he was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're asking was.
Yeah, he was knocking him
He
down.
was not guarded like a spacer. He made shots.
And he made them pay for that. And he made
not consistently. Not consistently. No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
He shot 50% from 3 in that series. The same thing.
Oh my God, 50% from 3. Wow. How many attempts?
That's not. Never mind. That's what I'm arguing with. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They had to make that adjustment.
It's Aaron Gordon threes. Listen. Yes. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Fuck yeah. Hey, listen. Shoot the ball, Aaron Gordon. Yes. 100%. I'll live with that. Are we serious?
He took 2.5. He took
2.5. He's talking about 50% for 3. Okay. He shot 1 for 2 from 3.
He made 1 3 a game.
I'm just simply talking about Russ's fit with the team as a whole. Yeah, I do think that.
And I'm mentioning the fit of him being a non-spacer.
Me off, dude. If you don't let me finish speaking. Have I done that to you today?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Goodness gracious.
As you were saying, Swiper.
All I'm saying is that you're asking his functional fit within the team. I think there are multiple things he's going to add, as including in the fact that he is going to present his own challenges and problem as a spacer. I think on the other side of this, 1,000%, his playmaking is something they just do not have outside of Murray and Jokic. And on top of that, the fact that he can create and get to the rim, they just don't have a player that can do that functionally. And again, if he can finish at any semblance of a level, then that's going to be a positive add value. But again, if you're asking me based on what my preference is, it would still be Chris Dunn. It would still be Chris Dunn, who is also a limited offensive player. But I'm not upset about Russ.
Russell Westbrook is back. Jokic is going to revive him like he's done to Bruce Brown, like he did to Jerry Grant, like he did to KCP.
Get Russ another max contract.
Hey, my man. Hey, Russ, we back. Bro, hey, Russ fan club. Come out from hiding. Come
Russ fan club can be back all they want. I asked Swiper a question and I just couldn't get an answer from you about it. Because yes, I'm not even going to deny the other positives that he could contribute. I'm simply asking, when you're in the playoffs, you have Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon on the floor at the same time. What adjustments are they going to be able to use to benefit off of how they're going to be guarded? Because fundamentally, if you have 2 guys that are looked at to be non-spacers, that makes the defensive coverages harder.
Well, if they're on the court together, I imagine AG's at center, so they'll probably be running pick and roll in that particular scenario. So
you're doing a Russ. Okay, that's fine. So you'll be doing a Russell Westbrook and a Gordon 2-man game, basically, with Jokic and Jamal Murray on the floor.
That's the core. No. I'm saying AG and Russ, when they're on the court, more than likely will happen when it's the non-Jokic minutes in the playoffs, in specifically, because that's going to be the lineup that they're creating around the bench. Now, what I'm also saying, in that instance, then Jamal's going to be on the floor, maybe Strother. There's another player apparently on the way for them, but I don't really know. Holmes, whoever else. I do think that in the starting unit, again, like. That all depends on how the Nuggets are playing. If they're playing like a horn action, for instance, with Russ, and then Russ is the ball handler, and then it's AG and Jokic, then spacing's not really much of an issue for me in that set, because obviously there's multiple things they can do out of that. Like AG doesn't just have to be in the corner. So I do think, to your point, they're going to have to find out ways creatively to build an offense, whether it's a Spain pick and roll, whether it's a horn set, where they're just a basic pick and roll, where they're getting Aaron Gordon in a spot that he can roll and go down to the rim. So that way he doesn't even have to worry about taking a high volume amount of 3-point shots. So I think that would be the adjustment, because you obviously don't want them to both be on the 3-point line.
And gift that you also leave out the fact that when teams go zone, sure, Russell Westbrook isn't going to be a floor spacer, but when you put Joker in the middle of that zone, because Joker's not going to be the primary ball handler, but when you put Joker in the middle of that zone, I think that makes them even more viable, because now Joker could get downhill, which can collapse the zone. That's how Aaron Gordon gets to the rim. That's how Russ ends up getting to the rim. So when you're doing stuff like that, it's not like these teams are playing man all game, because they can't play man all game. Joker gets teams in foul trouble. Aaron Gordon gets teams in foul trouble. Russ getting downhill, he's going to put pressure on the rim and get teams in foul trouble, which is going to now make them have to go to that zone, and that's going to make them even better. So could it work? Now, sure, gifted. Russell Westbrook is not a floor spacer. Okay, sure. If you're going to leave Aaron Gordon open, he has proven that he's going to make you pay for that. He's proven that. Now, I'm not looking at him. But wait a minute. I'm not looking at him. But actually, what it amounted to, it amounted to them going 7 games with a Minnesota team where they ended up falling apart. It wasn't because Aaron Gordon wasn't able to make open shots. He was not a liability on the wing. That's not what happened. He actually made them have to adjust to that. They couldn't score. They couldn't score in the half court. Outside of that, that was the biggest problem with the Denver Nuggets. But you can't leave Aaron Gordon wide open like they were doing and expect to be successful in that. You can't do that.
Yeah, fellas, we gotta move on. Gifted. Okay, we got a whole bunch of other free agents to get into. To talk about. We got some teams, some re-signings and stuff like that. But more importantly, I got super chats from you guys. So let's go ahead and do this. Pimp named Slickback said, "I'm sorry, but can someone explain to me what the Clippers organization is doing? I get PG isn't really worth a 4-year max, but y'all have no picks until 2031. This is a disaster waiting to happen."
I think we didn't even talk about them getting Kevin Porter Jr.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Yeah,
because they got Josh Primo last year. I don't know.
They got Primo too.
Yeah, interesting. Whatever. But yeah, they can't tank. They don't own control of any of their picks. OKC has them. Like they're involved in swaps between us and OKC. So ideally, the Clippers are worse than us. So then we don't have to give OKC.
Mars, is it realistic
players choice
that we could get some of our picks back if this is what I'm thinking, Mars? I'm thinking throughout the season.
Kawhi,
well, not just Kawhi, but if we ended up having a season where some of these guys played good and these rotation guys looked a lot better, we can pick up the telephone and put together a deal where we can get some of our picks back, as opposed to just riding it out in 20 and we got to wait till 2020. We got to wait till 2031 to have any picks. I mean, that's what teams do.
If I remember correctly, it's OKC who have all of their picks.
Yep.
OKC aren't giving up those picks for Norman Powell. It's either you give us Kawhi and we'll give you some of your picks back, or nothing. So the Clippers have no power. If we're being honest, the Clippers have no power.
Okay, so wait a minute, Mars. I'm not necessarily okay. The Oklahoma City Thunder have their picks, just like you had Brooklyn's picks. That doesn't mean we Phoenix. Okay, that doesn't mean that we have to deal with you specifically. We could get
out. You get your picks back if it's not dealing with the person who has your.
Okay,
picks.
So those picks are gone. What I'm thinking is I'm thinking about maybe getting some picks back. I'm not necessarily out
getting someone else's picks.
Yeah, but then what's the value? What's the value of getting? Oh, hello, Milwaukee. Let's get your pick. Yay, we got the 27th pick in 2027.
Well, we need something, Mars. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because the 27th pick. Who could the 23rd pick been this year? Dunn, the kid that we love, by the way, he could have been one of our picks. The idea is to get the idea is to get not our picks back, because those picks are already gone. The idea is to get picks back so we can build our franchise. We can't just sit here and do nothing. So the idea is, when I have my rotation players like Norman Powell, like Coffey, like these guys playing better, when these guys play better, that ups their value. And a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, like the Philadelphia 76ers, who see them playing better, I can put guys like that together, and I can maybe get a 1 for those guys. I can maybe get 2 1s for those guys. Something like that, as opposed to just sitting on our hands and going, damn, we don't have our picks. Let's just see if this Kawhi Leonard and James Harden thing's going to work.
But is that not harder than just paying Paul George, the guy that you traded all those picks for, and keeping your 3 together? Because you realize when you get rid of Paul George, you lessen how good of a team you are. You're now having to rely on getting lucky with trading guys to get that value, which they straight up don't have that value. And more importantly, even if you get other teams' picks, guess what? If you suck, there's no value to it. You being a bad team, there's no value to it because you don't have your own pick. The reason why the Nets had such a great trade is not only did they trade Mikal Bridges and got a ton of picks, but they also were able to get some of their own initial picks back. So now they can suck this year and actually draft high in their own draft. They can control their own destiny. The Clippers are not in that position. So for you to let go of Paul George, sign Harden to a 1-for-1 deal, which I'm telling you, I think he's gone on that. They're going to be in hell because of this.
I don't think they just let Paul George walk. I don't think Paul George wanted to come back. I think there's a stark.
They don't want to give him 4 years, Domo.
I think it's a stark difference in letting PG walk and PG not wanting to return.
Well,
but letting PG walk is not giving him 4 years.
Would y'all give him the 4th year?
I think by giving him that contract, you would have been handicapped and not being able to do other things you wanted to do.
Then you trade Paul George a year after or something. You don't let the asset walk for nothing. It's like you cannot let a guy that you traded your future for nothing. You should have either traded him this year if you knew you didn't want to offer him that money. Because I'm pretty sure this is not the first time Paul George told him, hey, I want 4 years. I'm pretty sure he told him this during the season. That's not something that just randomly, hey, by the way, I want 4 years.
For PG, was it the Lakers or the Clippers, or was it the Warriors?
The Clippers. They said no to the trade.
Yeah, they passed.
And that was for
it was J.K. Wiggins. It was
J.K. Wiggins, Chris Paul.
Actually, there was also another reporter that did say that it was actually the Warriors, and the hang-up was Kuminga.
But it's variation, so like we don't know.
Would have been insane. That you're not going to give Steph another chance and another creator and another all-star level player for Jonathan Kuminga? Like he has 10 years left? Oh my gosh, bro.
I'm just saying,
even the Clippers though. Why would the Clippers not want Kuminga?
Go back, Swipe, like you just said. I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. So the idea is that you're not going to give the Clippers are not going to give Steph another scorer.
No, he means the Warriors because
the Warriors
basically
they basically said the report. One of the reports is they said no because they didn't want to give up Jonathan Kuminga, which for me,
I thought he was in the deal.
He's reading another report. We don't really know the real.
The other side of this is saying that it actually wasn't the Clippers, that it was on the Warriors, and Mike Dunleavy said, "I'm not giving up Jonathan Kuminga in this deal because we want to build around him in the future." To which I'm saying, I think Steph is 36. He's 36 now. Get this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you worried about the next 3 years from Kuminga? Come on, bro. So I'm really waiting to see if Steph Curry asks for a trade. He probably won't do it publicly, but it's come out of nowhere. I feel like it would just come out of nowhere.
But independent of the Warriors, that doesn't really matter. If you're the Clippers and you're not going to give Paul George 4 years, you trade him in season. You didn't do that. Okay. You're now at the offseason point. Okay. I want 4 years. We don't want to give you 4 years. Okay, fine. The Warriors want Paul George. He wants to go there. The two best players on the team are okay in that, and they're giving you value back, regardless if you wanted a player or not. This is your chance to get something for Paul George. You say no. Who is that hurting the most? It's not the Warriors. It's the Clippers. You let your asset walk completely for free. For nothing at all attached to him whatsoever.
This wouldn't be that big.
That's letting him walk.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, Gifted, because if they didn't let him walk and they ended up getting something for him, not necessarily from the Warriors, if they ended up getting something from him,
anybody,
I wouldn't have a problem with that. Because at the end of the day, Gifted, it is not my job to help make your team better. That's not my job.
Of course, but
absolutely not.
Yeah, but that's why this isn't about the Warriors. I'm saying at the end of the day, Paul George, right? Once he has an opt-in, opt-out choice to make, he has to make that choice because you don't want to pay him, right? So at this point, he is trying to give you value back and try to get his money by doing a sign and trade with you because you can still offer him the most money of any team, right? So doing a sign and trade would get you assets back and put Paul George on another team where he's making the contract he wants to make, right? Both parties are being solved, but more importantly, as a business, you're not letting the asset that you traded all of your future picks for to pair Kawhi and Paul George away for nothing. If Paul George walks away for absolutely nothing, which he did, you're now in no man's land where you have no picks to rebuild with. I promise you, trading Norman Powell is not going to get you some crazy unprotected first round pick. They don't control their own destiny until 2031. That's a problem, especially in this new CBA.
So I got to ask you guys, we believe that the Clippers are cooked with the current iteration of their roster.
Hooked? What does that mean, hooked?
Are they done?
Not contenders.
What does that mean, done?
Contending for a championship.
I
didn't say not
real
contenders.
Contenders are there? Let me ask that question first.
Not the Clippers swiper.
Would you guys have considered the Clippers a championship contender last year?
Last year,
at the beginning of the year.
No.
When they made the Harden trade, 1,000%.
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, people don't like Harden, so I don't tell you. Of course they were. Like, they had the talent to do so. Yes, if they were healthy. If you tell me Kawhi, Harden, and PG were healthy, playing in that first round series versus the Mavs, I would have picked the Clippers.
Swiper. God damn.
That's what I have to go based on who's on the roster.
Chill don't like that.
I'm so sick of doing this. Gifted because every year.
Giannis has played less games for the last 3 seasons, and he's missed the last 2 playoffs. But he's been hurt or not playing in the last 2 playoffs. So I should go based on that. That by next playoff, Giannis is more than likely, based on the last 3 years, not going to be available or fully healthy by the playoffs.
Okay, so in 21, he was in 21 he won the NBA championship. In 21, but he still played, and
he was hurt.
He played. Leonard hasn't played 4 of the last 5 playoffs they was in. 4 of them. What is he still doing?
And Giannis has been hurt in 3 of the last 4. What do you mean? What does that got to do with
the
anything?
NBA championship with him on the floor.
They played the Hawks in the 3rd round. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You know what? Chill. You could beat Clint Capella. You could beat Clint Capella right now at 52 years old.
I absolutely not can. No, I am only 51, by the way. But no, I cannot beat Clint Capella. That's not the point. No, it's not the same thing, Mars. It's not the same thing. So kill it. The point that I'm making is are the Clippers cooked? When have the Clippers not been cooked? I mean, let's be honest. They're the Clippers.
I mean, well, chill. Let Big Ox tell it. Let Big Ox tell it. Paul George just got out the way. They still got Norman Powell. He could do the same thing Devin Booker could do.
They just got DJJ too. They have a good team. They got Zubac. They got Tucker.
And with all of that being said, the same thing that's going on with Paul George going to Philadelphia is the same thing that's happening with the Clippers. You could put all of the stuff that you want to put around Joel Embiid, just like you could put all of the stuff you want around Kawhi Leonard.
Man, you're such a hater.
He is the post that's holding up this tent.
Embiid just averaged 37 points a game in the playoffs.
He is the post that's holding up this tent. If he goes to pieces, they go to pieces. It's that simple. I think Joel Embiid is good enough if he's healthy, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but I believe Joel Embiid, if he's healthy, he could throw that unit on his back and take them to the
NBA
could
Kawhi.
Championship. In fact, not only can Kawhi do it, we've seen him do it. You know what we've seen over the last 5 years? We've seen him break down. You know what we've seen with Joel Embiid? Him get hurt.
We can say the same of Giannis.
He is the post holding up that tent.
We can say the same of Giannis. So the Giannis is
breaking news. I got breaking news, by the way. It says Derrick White has re-signed to the Boston Celtics for $125.9 million for a 4-year contract.
That's not breaking news.
What's that like? Right here? That's
wait, how much was Drew's? Drew's was 130. The same thing.
I think Drew's was like 135. I believe.
Oh, same thing.
Like keeping the band together, because essentially what the Celtics are doing,
keep your team together in the second Abram era. Yeah,
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
but they're all young enough to do that, and they all have their bird rights too. That's the thing. They made timely moves, man.
That's great front office, man.
What you just said.
Great front office.
That's why the bird rights are so important. The fact that you keep your free agents and you have your bird rights, you can pay them. That's what the bird rights were created for. For that reason, right there. You don't let dudes walk out the front door when you got their bird rights.
All I know is if they can get to the playoffs fully healthy, which is a big if, because apparently I got to use all this backyard context. Chill. Jalen Brunson and them, they've been getting hurt, so they're not going to be healthy by the playoffs. Giannis Antetokounmpo and them be getting hurt, so they're not going to be healthy by the playoffs. And then you got Joel Embiid and Paul George, they might get hurt, so I can't put it all on there. But hopefully, chill. If they're all healthy, it's going to be a bloodbath at the top 4.
How many times does somebody have to be injured in the playoffs for you to be like, all right, this is just the normal?
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know.
No, I'm asking for you. Like, genuinely, how many times?
That's the thing. I mean, I feel like so I would say that obviously Embiid is injury prone. Mm-hmm. They are all different injuries. Giannis, at this point, is probably injury prone, but they all are different injuries. I think that Brunson, obviously broken hand is a broken hand. OG's injury prone. That's for sure. He's definitely injury prone. Probably like if you're dealing with stuff throughout the year consistently, which is all of those players, and then by the time you're in the playoffs, you're just not the same level of player because of injuries, I would say you can be injury prone. Kawhi Leonard, also injury prone. Paul George, injury prone.
Giannis
has gotten injury prone.
Becoming injury prone, and that's because he's aging. I mean, I think he'll be 30 in December, and I thought I thought the thing that worries me with Giannis,
That sucks.
He'll be 30 years old in December.
That sucks.
You know, someone that's why cares. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he'll be 30 years old in December.
That
And
sucks.
the thing that I just don't, when I see non-contact injuries, that worries me. That always worried me when it comes.
I hear that.
Particularly when it comes to big guys. And the fact that Giannis, his game is predicated on flight and athleticism. His game isn't predicated on getting to specific spots and things like that. His game is predicated on him getting up and down the floor and being fast, being athletic, jumping high. And if he's breaking down like this, what does this mean in the future? The 4 or 5 years that I thought that I might have had with him, that might be 2 or 3 now.
Giannis really about to ascend, reach an MVP level, decline, retire, all while LeBron's still averaging 25. It's crazy.
You think he's going to retire?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Hey, shout out to LeBron's longevity, man.
Gifted, I do want to say that I thought that was breaking news. You guys was hating. Appreciate you for dropping that. Also, too, I got breaking news, too.
What's up?
We got super chats. The first one of which is from Biggs. He's been a member for 4 months. He said Clippers trading PG to the Warriors is like De'Aaron Fox saying he's going to leave and Sacramento trading him to the Lakers. Why would I help direct competition?
Because you don't want to be an idiot and lose everything for nothing. That's why. It's not even about Golden State. Trade Paul George. The fact that they were only in talks to really move him to Golden State is because Paul George had the power. It was a sign and trade. What does a sign and trade entail? When a player wants to go to a certain team for the bag and they have to sign him to that bag and hard cap themselves, right? Yeah. Ultimately, that is based on where Paul George wanted to go. The only team that he was really entertaining to go in a sign and trade was the Golden State Warriors. And at that point, you have no one to blame for that but yourself because you didn't want to pay Paul George. You should have traded him in season. You didn't. Boo-hoo. Trade him. You didn't. Now you're cooked.
And this is why the book on superstars who don't want to re-up with you was written by LeBron James. He wrote the book.
Yeah.
When your superstar does not re-up in that contract year, you better move him because he's going to walk out the front door and you're going to get nothing for him. Absolutely not am I doing this. No. When Paul George, you guys couldn't come to a contract agreement, if the 4 years, if year 4 was the problem, no matter what you guys did, you still couldn't come to that. You had to move him. Now, I'm sure that there were other suitable offers. I'm sure that there were. You did not have to go, I'm not trading. If you're going to say I'm not trading him to Golden State, bet. But does that mean that Golden State was the only team that was interested in Paul George? I'm sure that there were other teams that were interested if you put him on the block. Even if you put him on the block quietly, I'm sure that there were other teams. But to just let him walk out the front door for nothing, those are fireable offenses for me. Especially if you don't have that to make up for that. That's why I feel like with OG Anunoby, I wouldn't have had a problem with him walking because I had Mikal Bridges.
I got a poll up and running right now, chat. I need you guys to talk to me and let me know what you would have did if you were the Clippers. Would you have re-signed Paul George? Would you have traded him to Golden State, or would you have let his ass walk?
I would have traded him to the original team that wanted him, which is Denver. 1,000% easily would have.
Of course you would.
Of course,
yeah, but I would have done that. At least they would have Mike.
Wouldn't be hard for you to do it all,
and then a first round pick. Yeah, easy.
100%.
I bet.
I would have traded the Pacers. The Bucks.
What's the sarcasm about?
Because you're a Denver guy.
It's not sarcasm. You're a Denver guy.
What's wrong? So as opposed to that or Golden State would have been significantly better than what they're in the situation they're in now. So
no, of course we all agree.
It's just
it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. But
it's just we know your body.
Yes, and you being a Denver guy, of course you would endorse this. Just like if you were a Golden State guy, you would endorse that. So
ain't no shame in that.
I just endorse the fact that you should have gotten something regardless instead of just letting someone walk away. Yeah, I mean, 1,000%.
I won't argue.
Yeah, that's pretty bad to not do that.
I'm the only one that heard that. All right. DJ Noel said, Bulls should sign and trade DeRozan. 3-team deal with the Hornets and the Lakers. Hornets get Torrey Craig, White, and Rui. And the Bulls get Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell. Miles Bridges.
Lost me when he said Bulls get Anthony Davis.
DJ.
And the Lakers get Marvin Williams.
DJ. The reason why the Bulls were. Okay. May I please, Mars? the reason why the Bulls were what they were in the 90s, because the unit was built. You had a franchise player, you built around that guy. Then you didn't for a long time. Then you got Derrick Rose, and then you built around him. You went and got the kid from Florida, Joakim Noah. Then you went and got Jimmy Butler. You built around him. What you're trying to do in Chicago is this quick fix. There is no quick fix. This thing is a dumpster fire. Get you a franchise player, which this kid Mateus may very well be. He may very well be your franchise player with White and now with Josh Giddey. Now you're building around this, as opposed to, I'm going to dump this guy, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. If you're getting off those guys, get off them. But build your unit for the future, not because we're going to get Anthony Davis and we're trying to win right now. There is no win right now in Chicago. There is none. So please stop. Enough with the Chicago Bulls.
Anthony
right
Davis,
now.
you know that shit not real.
There's no win right now with the
Anthony
Chicago
Davis.
Bulls. There isn't.
All right, moving along. Kai sent through a super chat. He said, chill. DeJounte is an elite passer and playmaker. In games without Trey last season, he's averaging 9 assists.
Okay.
And he also averaged 9 assists for a
Elite.
season with the Spurs as well.
Elite is
All right. Listen, I'm
The
sorry.
standard for elite is just not very high.
I'm so tired of people using assist numbers to say that's elite. 9 assists, that makes someone a elite playmaker because they have 9 assists. Is that the bar?
9 assists is a lot, though, Gifted.
That's
can't deny
fine,
that.
but
Yeah, that's great.
does 9 assists
I'm not
make
saying
you
it makes you
elite?
elite, but 9 assists, if you're consistently averaging 9 assists, it will put you in the upper echelon of passers in the NBA.
Hey, man, I guess.
Does it not?
If that means DeJounte's in there, then I would disagree with you.
Well, so hold on. What I'm saying is, because I'm not even arguing that DeJounte's elite, but I feel like you guys are severely sleeping on DeJounte as a passer.
Oh, I already told you. I'm snoring. I told you. I'm fast.
Why don't you like him as a passer?
I'm high on DeJounte.
I'm low on this trade in every way imaginable. I hate this move.
I'm talking about as just a passer and playmaker, Morris. Why don't you like DeJounte?
Because I think realistically, I think just because he occasionally makes passes, it doesn't override the fact of how much he dribbles the ball and how much he shoots it. When Trae Young doesn't play and he averages those 9 assists, he has the ball every time down the floor. And it's not creating good offense like it is with Trae and Luka and Jalen Brunson or whatever. He might get assists and score, but he doesn't get to the rim. He doesn't collapse defenses. He doesn't force defenses into rotations. He's just like, I just don't think he's very good. But I guess I'm not.
That's what I was about to say. Do you don't think he's very good, Mars, or is he just being overrated? Because when I think about DeJounte Murray, there was a stretch where
overrated, I guess.
Okay, because he was looking like he was going to be one of the better defensive guards in the game. I never really saw him as a primary ball handler. Even when he was in San Antonio, I thought that because of that offense, he played a lot off the ball because the ball moved. He played a lot off the ball. So I didn't really see him much as a primary ball handler. Now you're going to put him with Trae Young. I thought that he was going to play the 2. And now you're going to move him down to New Orleans where you're putting him back at the lead guard. And are you telling me that he's Trae Young or he's somebody like that? Because we can't misconstrue. Okay, 9 assists, that's Joker. But Joker's 9 assists are way different than DeJounte Murray's 9 assists. Those 2 things are not the same. Not even close to the same.
Yeah, I think just creating for teammates is more than just assists. I mean, like,
right.
Obviously, I'm like DeJounte can create good looks for people 1000%. But his 9 assists doesn't mean he's creating better looks than LeBron is for the Lakers, and LeBron averages like 7. But everyone knows LeBron is clearly the far superior playmaker, passer, whatever you want to call it. Is far superior because assists aren't the only way to create for people. Like, he's just
right.
The way I view DeJounte is he's a scorer who can pass. And there's nothing wrong with being a scorer who can pass. The combo guard, I guess. Combo guard is the term. He's a combo guard, but you ask him to like actually create elite offense. I don't think he's that good at that. And then also someone said talk about his defense. I mean, the defense has been reputation for a while. He's just wasn't a very good defender. But maybe that's because he had too much offensive responsibility. Maybe that's because of the way he tore his ACL. He just lost some of his quickness. Whatever you want to call it, I don't know. But I think I wasn't high. I remember I wasn't high on him back when he was in San Antonio because he was averaging like 21, 9, and 9. And I was on the Wednesday, Sunday show saying he's not as good as the box score is suggesting. I still feel that way, but the box score doesn't look as cool when people he can do that. I just don't see it.
I don't even think for me it's a DeJounte Murray thing, Ron. I just hate when people say, "Oh, he's elite" because he averaged. I don't care about none of that. We've seen so many instances where players average X, Y, or Z, but we know that they're not an elite playmaker. I don't want to water down elite just because you're at 9 assists. Like, that's not what that means to me. Like, he's nowhere near the levels of the real elite playmakers. He's a good passer, fine. He's not elite.
Well, that's the point I'm making, Gifted. I'm not sitting up here caping for DeJounte Murray saying he's an elite playmaker. What I do think he's now the best playmaker for the Pelicans. I do think now he fits great with it. And if he's not Morris, that's even better. If Zion's a better playmaker than him or Brandon Ingram is, now you got 3 playmakers. You got 4 with CJ McCollum. I love his fit down there. Also, on top of that, you add another Mars. You say he's a reputational defender. More than likely, when you're a guy that does something, and you might not do it to the level that you did it with, but when you go and play with other guys, that you'll pick that back up. So
yeah, I think that's what they have faith. Sorry, I think that's what New Orleans believe. I think with Willie Green and their personnel and their scheme, they think he can get back to what he was defensively. I think that's just optimistic. I'm not knocking them for it, but I think that's what it is because it can't be based on what he's actually done recently. I think it has to be based on belief that he can get back to what he used to be, which I guess is a reasonable belief because I don't think you just forget how to guard. So.
And also, too, I don't think it wasn't the best situation with Trae Young in the lineup or without Trae Young in the lineup over there with the Hawks. Like, without Trae, obviously they trash. With Trae, it's still a fit issue, and it's like, okay, I'm off ball, but I'm on ball, but I'm off ball. And it was just, I think it was a weird fit altogether. So I don't think we got to necessarily see the best of them. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. I'm eager to see what they either do with Brandon Ingram or Zion, or maybe they flip Trey Murphy or Herb for a big. I don't know. Who knows? But I'm interested to see how they eventually fill out the roster. But I like what they got right now.
I think they have to go with CJ. DeJounte and CJ is I don't like it at all. But I guess my biggest issue with DeJounte is just so much of his game is dependent on the mid range, and
be a ball dominant and all that.
And and like unless you're one of them ones, and I mean one of them, Shea, Kevin Durant, Kawhi,
Prime Harden or whatever,
you're not. I don't think you're stressing the defense enough to create great looks for people, as opposed to someone who is either a pull-up 3 threat, which he did add this year. So for what it's worth, he did add that. Not much of an off-ball threat. And someone who can just get to the rim at will. He doesn't go to the rim very often. And when he does, he's not a very good finisher. So those things, I guess, is where I'm lower on DeJounte in terms of overall offensive player because of how much he's dependent on mid-range jumpers and not stressing the defense and ball dominance and all those things. But very good shot maker, though. Very, very good shot maker. So I think that's why he needs to be the 2, and they need to go with CJ. I just don't know if they can acquire a 1.
Tyler T said, "Good morning, everyone. Jokic better.
You're gonna be better losing in the first round."
Call Fifi Dotard BLM said, "Bi or Ingram? Am I speaking Mandarin? Bi or Ingram?"
Am I speaking Mandarin?
Shut up, man. Shut up. That's all I'm gonna say to that one.
Pimp named Slickback said the Spurs are more than likely just doing exploratory talks. The Spurs are a patient organization, and I don't see a big trade coming this year.
I mean, that's why the Chris Paul move was so good, though. Yeah, like I don't think the Spurs need to rush anything. I think they have time, they have picks. You see what Wemby can be, and literally just get a guy on the roster that can get him the ball. Chris Paul will definitely do that.
The point guard of the future is in the draft next year. They're gonna get Nolan Traore. He's French, so already it makes sense. He's a great point guard prospect, 6'5", can get to the rim, create for other guys, shooting indicators. Shout out to the shooting indicators. Nolan Traore is. I'm I'm not in the Spurs front office. I'm assuming he's all over their draft boards for next year. If they can't get Cooper Flag, obviously, because Cooper Flag.
That's fair to think.
But Nolan Traore, I think, would be their number 2 option, and he's the point guard of the future if they can get.
Alan R. My apologies. Alan L. said, I can't wait to see these teams play, man. L Ox, L Dub.
Hey, Moss.
I'm not allowed to say anymore, Joe. I'm not allowed to.
I just want to make sure. I thought something might have changed over the course of maybe the weekend or.
Oh, I can assure you nothing's changed. I just can't say anything.
Okay, no problem.
What can't you say?
Superchats, man.
All right. Mavs Luka Kyrie said, great day to be a Mavs fan. Clippers got worse. Golden State Warriors got worse. Nuggets got worse. We took Najee from the Pels. Now we just got to wait for this SNT sign and trade with who?
Yep.
That Najee Marshall move was great, man. It's a great.
Najee was a great.
They replaced Derrick Jones with Najee Marshall.
That's what I'm saying. Is that not great, Double?
That's
really
good.
good.
I know. Phenomenal move.
That's a great move, man.
They got better. They, in my opinion, they objectively got better.
So then what else do you think they're going to try to do, Mars?
I heard they're trying to get Klay.
Yeah, they might try to get Klay.
That's the signing trade.
Also, they got Tim Hardaway.
Yep, they got Quentin Grimes to the Tim Hardaway, so they replaced.
Are we going to talk about what the Pistons are doing to Cade Cunningham right now?
Oh man,
hey, Cade Cunningham just got a bag.
Mars,
they said Cades. We know you
gonna be crying with his money.
Tim Hardaway and Tobias Harris. Like they're trying to.
They gave Tobias $52 million, bro.
And who'd they draft?
Ron Holland. Who also is another guy that can't.
It's disgraceful what they're doing to Cade. But shout out to Cade.
At least Cade got paid. At least Cade got paid for that shit. At least
5 years, 226 million
reimbursed. At least he's being reimbursed.
Yeah,
Cade making more than Jamal Murray is not what I was expecting.
I think if I remember correctly, those like rookie extensions, the max is like
are bags
or whatever. But that's only if you make like an all NBA team or something. Otherwise, it's like less.
Well, Jamal only got 200 because his resume is
non-existent.
Right.
Those things, yeah.
You got a first team all rookie though.
But he was first team rookie. He was actually first team rookie.
First or second? I know he had an all rookie team. It just says all rookie.
I don't think his rookie year was that good. I don't think he would have made first team, but
I just said first. I assume maybe it was second. I don't know. I just know it was all rookie team in the championship. That's all his resume got. But
he came 5th in rookie of the year, so I'd assume so.
Yeah.
Dave with the super chat. He said, as a Hawks fan, when will Trae Young receive his much needed wake up call and change the way he plays? He has no market.
Yes, he won't. Y'all need to trade him, man. Y'all need to trade him.
The all rookie teams used to have 4 people on them.
Did they?
Jamal Murray was on the second team, but the first and second team had 4 people each.
Oh wow!
I didn't know it. Wow, that doesn't really even sound right.
Weird.
Yeah, they're not even teams.
Yeah, that sounds super weird. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But that super chat, Trae has no market. Yes, he does. You just haven't heard about it. If the Atlanta Hawks put it out there that Trae Young is on the market and we're entertaining offers, they would get calls. 100% they would get calls. It wouldn't be like, yo, nobody's bothering with this guy. They would get calls. So that's just not true.
Boss reference lied to me. I had to go open up a different page. Yogi Ferrell was on an all-rookie team.
Wow.
Hey, shout out Yogi.
Oh, wow.
Yogi did have a good year too.
Shout out Yogi.
I know Yogi was getting busy.
Yogi.
Yeah, so I had to open up a different page. I was like, there's no way it was 4 people.
I forgot about Yogi Ferrell. Man, that's a name I ain't heard in a minute.
Yogi Ferrell and Willie Hernan Gomez were all rookies.
Shout out Willie.
Shout out Willie.
Your guy Marquise Chris was all rookie that year.
Shout out Marquise.
Marquise. Shout out Marquise, man. Former Warrior.
I guess.
Dookie Blaylock has been a member for 7 months, and you guys know the name. You know the
I knew this was coming.
He said, y'all heard about Kawhi Leonard stabbing Paul George in the back? PG has been the Clippers' most consistent player the past 4 seasons.
No, we have
what
not
is
heard
stabbing
about
Paul George in the back?
Yeah.
Duke doesn't like Kawhi. Just
Now we know that. I just want to see like what the bid is from him in terms of what he considers stabbing Paul George in the back.
I heard about Jimmy Butler stabbing Cat in the back when they departed. I ain't heard about the Kawhi one. I ain't heard the
He
Kawhi
might stab
one
something else in the back. I don't know. I think it's interesting though. We'll see what happens with it.
Adam West said Ron really be making the worst takes, but somehow is not the worst of everyone on the panel. ... Still El host though.
I mean, W,
I
you're
guess.
not the West. Yeah, you're not the West. Shout out to whoever is the West. Maybe it's me, maybe it's Doma, maybe it's Gifted, maybe it's Chill. Who knows?
One of us.
Appreciate you, Adam. Number 41 said, I really don't want Klay on the Mavs. Rather, Cam Johnson plus another wing with the rest of our MLE, minimum level exceptions. Like Batum, if he's not retiring, we can save Dinwiddie.
Bring Dinwiddie back again. Oh man.
I'm not
At what point are you guys
going
gonna
to
give up on Dinwiddie? At what point are you just gonna give up?
Facts.
Hey man, his powers might come back alive for Dallas. Maybe. He wasn't good last year, but maybe. Possible.
DSG Piccolo said, my Blazers gonna need both first unprotected plus Connect 4 and filler for Grant if y'all don't get Klay, Damo. All love though.
Connect 4 is one of the 5 best nicknames, the 5 best names in the NBA, by the way.
That's a really good name. Connect 4 is hard.
Yeah, that's great.
So to that other super chat when we talked about Kawhi Leonard stabbing Paul George in the back. Mars, is it my job to tell you that I'm signing an extension? That's my job to do that? Because apparently that's what the issue is. The issue is that Kawhi Leonard didn't tell Paul George that they had offered him an extension and that he was going to sign it. Is it my job to tell you that I'm signing an extension, Damo? Is that my job?
I mean, I'm a bad person, so you don't want to ask me. I'm obligated to do nothing. So
that's what I'm just trying to make sense. We're talking about, if we're talking about the business of this, is it my job to tell you, hey, Gifted, I'm signing an extension with the Clippers. They offered me $153 million, and I'm going to take it. That's my job to do that.
It's not your job. No,
it's not your job,
but
it's
it's
a
a
nice
job.
relationship. It depends on your relationship with your running mate. I don't think it's Kawhi's job to tell him personally. I don't think it's his job. I don't know.
Was it KD's job to tell Russ that he was leaving in free agency?
See, and again, I don't think it's his job, but they were perceived as really close. I don't know the extent of that relationship. They seem close, and the way they made the breakup seemed like they was close, and Russ had an issue with it. So I assume Russ at least felt he should have been in the no more. But we seen LeBron leave Miami, and Dwayne Wade said, "Shit, I found out on the plane. Like I found out when I landed, he was gone, and they didn't fall out. So it definitely varies. It's situational, in my opinion.
I get it.
I'm obligated to do nothing.
Oh,
You can't say that's your brother. You don't know. I mean, listen, unless you're in that locker room or you're watching Podcast P every time they drop an episode, and he is stating on random episodes how close him and Kawhi is, them niggas is not brothers. I'm sorry.
Y'all be throwing around brothers so much people you don't know.
People always assume that the two best players on the team are just best friends.
Her best friends. No, that's not how it works.
Always be assuming that, like,
because Jordan and
Pippen they're brothers.
No,
I don't know. Like, this is gonna sound weird coming from me. I don't know how many like locker rooms people have been in. The best players on the team aren't always the best friends. Like, they very rarely they very rarely are, to be honest.
Normally, it's the players who don't play that have the biggest bonds with the best players.
Yeah, so like, I don't know what kind of. maybe it's different in the U.S. I don't know. Maybe the best players.
No, it's not different in the U.S.
It's not different in the U.S. at all. Nah, he's living in fairy tale land. It's cool.
On top of that, why the hell would I let Paul George know? Hey man, they about to extend me. They about to give me this 212. You know, well, if that nigga go out there and ask for more. These niggas are selfish. I'm not gonna lie, these niggas are selfish and childish.
They are.
Why would I tell you how much I'm getting so you can go and backdoor me and ask them for more money?
And now I gotta make less because now they gotta pay Paul. You know, I hear that.
Hey man, if they ain't talking to you about your extension, they ain't talking to you about your extension, gang.
I will say this though: if they talked about like
what my team is handling, we don't gotta talk about what my team handling.
But don't to be fair, right? If they talked about like maybe leaving the Clippers and going somewhere else. And then out of nowhere, Kawhi just boom took the bag. I can understand how that might make Paul George feel away. I can see that, but at the same time, it's a business. Like
what Damo sound like is, hey, that ain't none of my damn business. That's what that sound like to me. That ain't none of my business, man. Listen,
I got no issue with that, chill.
That's what that sound like to me. That's none of my business, yo. If I find out that's not an extension, that's
whoa. Real quick, I have another breaking news. It says here the Boston Celtics majority ownership group led by Wick Grousbeck is planning to make the franchise available for sale. Wow.
They're
selling the Boston
chip,
Celtics.
right over chip, maximum value.
Sell it
IQ.
while it's hot.
God, this
Sell it while
Maximum
it's hot.
value. Maximum
there's so
value.
many smart people in the Celtics, dog.
Sell it while it's
Maximum
hot.
value.
Yeah, they
Yes,
selling
sir.
that shit while it's hot. That's crazy. Wow.
Win a championship and get up out of there.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Sell it while it's hot. How much you think the Boston Celtics go for today?
Oh God.
At least
I don't
$6
know.
billion.
I don't know the valuation of NBA.
I don't know the valuation, to be honest.
The Lakers
don't
are
think-
the most valuable. right?
Yeah, Lakers, Knicks, and Warriors. I
Warriors
know
are-
they're top 3 for sure. Warriors
Okay.
might be number 1. Warriors might be number 1, but I know those are the top 3 for sure.
I think Boston's probably 4.
They could
Right?
be 4 or 5. I could see that.
Boston more than the Bulls.
Yeah, yes. 100.
Okay.
Let me get my brain out of how good the team is or not, because the Bulls still pack it out every night, regardless. So
Even then, though,
I don't know.
like I think I would like to think a valuation of the Celtics will be a little higher right now, just based on the assets that they
I'm based
have.
off the chip as
the
Let's
momentum they
Google
have.
most valuable NBA franchises.
and they've had like consistent growth and overall success for like the past,
The
all
Warriors are
these
number
years.
1. The Warriors are number 1. The Knicks are number.
Okay.
Don't make me subscribe to your sports letter. Oh damn, they're blocking.
They cooked you.
Okay. The Warriors are number 1. The Knicks are number 2. The Lakers are 3. Celtics are 4. 4.7 billion. But it might have gone up because this is before the championship and all those things.
Okay,
The
so
Clippers
yeah.
are number 5. 4.65 billion. The
Shout out
Bulls
the
6,
Clips, man.
The Bulls
Okay.
are 6. The Mavs 7. The Rockets 8. The Sixers 9. And Toronto are 10. That's all I've got. I'm not subscribing to their newsletter for more. So
The Clips are number
I hear
5,
that.
and they couldn't re-sign Paul George.
frauds,
They
man.
could.
Frauds.
They just wasn't loving that 4th year. That's all that was.
All right, moving along. Coach Saunders said the Westbrook air ball is going to hit different in the playoffs.
No, they're not, because you've seen them in the playoffs. So why would they hit different?
No, Jokic gonna hit him right on the seams. That's what LeBron couldn't do.
Mm,
Jokic gonna hit him right on the seams. You're gonna see Westbrook shooting 38% from 3.
mm.
The Tribe One said Russ can play 16 minutes a game, and Aaron Gordon can play 30 minutes. They don't need to be on the court for any real amount of time. Russ will be a good move.
I like that's fine, but again, I asked Piper directly about on the court when they're on how that will look, and then he brought up off the court. Like I'm asking when it matters and you're in a playoff series, you're playing the majority of your players most of the game, so those times are not going to look the same. He's going to have to play with all of them at some point.
Even Russ and Peyton Watson it's gonna be interesting. I'm not saying
It's
it doesn't
ugly.
work. I can see
I think it's
non-floor
ugly.
spaces playing together because I think it just comes down to coaching and how you use them and your alignments and all those things. That's why I asked about what David Adam gonna do because I think David
Yeah.
Adam is a smart man.
I think he's a good guy.
I just know you have to. As much as it is to say, having floor spaces makes a coach's life easier. They don't have to do as much in terms of schematics if you have 5 floor spaces out there. It just makes everything easier. That doesn't mean it's impossible to play without 5 floor spaces. That's why I said I'm curious what David Adelman and Michael Malone can do. It just makes it obviously more difficult.
Agree.
You have anything to say, Damo?
He said everything.
I said everything I need to say about Russell Westbrook on the Nuggets.
All right.
He said it. Yeah, he said it.
Sure enough, we'll keep it pushing. Killer Cam said Gigi Jackson is part of the reason this year's draft class was perceived as weak. He was committed to UNC, but decided to reclass up to enter the NBA sooner.
That's why he's a steal from Memphis.
That's not why this draft class was perceived weak. They perceive every draft class where there's no clear-cut generational talent weak. Since 2020, I can definitely remember people calling draft classes either weak or top-heavy, which would incline after you get out the lottery or the top 5 to 10 picks, but the draft class is still weak. They're always going to say it. Next
They
year,
call 2020.
what happened?
They call
viewed
2020 weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2020 was viewed as a weak draft class. I see somebody, this draft is trash, though. No, it's not. You just don't know none of the players, which is, hey, that's more indicative on you than is this draft class. You just don't care, and that's fine. But it's not because Gigi Jackson came out early. It's not because so many guys went back to school that was supposed to come out. It's not because of none of that. They're going to if it's not viewed by the consensus of the mainstream media or no one's telling you, this draft class is going to be so great, so good. Like next year's draft class, people are already talking about how great next year's draft class is. Therefore, they're planting the seeds for you not to think of it as a weak draft class. That's it. But in reality, they might have as many.
Oh, he froze.
Mm-hmm.
And Duke 2020 was definitely viewed as a weak draft. It was. They
It
called
was,
it a
it
weak
was.
draft.
Outside of
Yeah,
and James Wiseman and LaMelo, they said the draft. They said it was a 3-person draft. That's what they said. And I'm not gonna lie, Cooper Flag looks special.
He does,
He looks
Mark.
good, doesn't he?
You seen him at the Duke scrimmages?
Yes, he
looks
does.
special.
Don't let the Spurs
It's
get Cooper
obvious
Flag.
watching him, to be honest with you, that this dude ain't gonna be here long. He is not.
Do not
He
let
is
the Spurs
not-
get Cooper Flag or
not
AJ
gonna-
Cooper
DeBounce.
Flag next to Wemby, top 3 defense.
Ooh,
straight
Cooper
years.
Flag next to Wemby would be crazy. Oh my god,
He
looks good. He look good. He look good.
looks-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Also,
excited
AJ
to see
DeBounce
that.
look good too.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
26. He 26.
Nah, yeah, true. That's true.
Shout out Tyron Stokes too. But
Yeah.
I was very critical of Cooper in high school. My biggest thing was I just gotta see how it looks when you're playing against other 6'10" guys, 7-footers, elite point guards that come over the top and dunk on you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
6'5" wings. So that'd be my only thing. I don't necessarily think that it can't translate because I
I'm not
like
mad
what
at
I've
you.
seen. I just want to see it during the season. I want to see him during SEC or ACC play, what he looks like. I want to see if he's going to be a 20 and 10 per guy type of night.
I'm gonna be watching them games.
Yeah, so we'll see. But Mars, you're right though. I was surprised by what I seen.
Yeah, he looks special. We'll see how it looks in his freshman year, his only year. But
It's obvious he ain't gonna be there long. It's
he
clear.
he looks good.
He's definitely one of them dudes, Ron, that he might not need to be in school. Like he might be wasting his time. He might be.
He would have gone number 1 this year.
Oh,
Man.
my, yeah. Yes,
and it would have been
yes.
unanimous too. I don't.
It
think
would not have been a question at all, Chill. No, yeah,
I think
for
it
sure.
I think it would have been unanimous that he's the number 1 pick in the draft.
And if Gigi Jackson's in this class, where does he go?
First round.
I actually don't know.
We can't do it based on what we saw him look like in the league. It's like that would be unfair.
Yeah, not.
You have to go
That's
back to
not
what he
fair
was
to
in college
He-
and the year at South Carolina. I mean, he ended up being a 2nd-round pick, and I thought he had a pretty solid year.
A year older.
It was inefficient. So imagine Gigi actually at like college age, like legitimate a 19-year-old in college now. He'd be one of the best players in the country, I think. So he'd be a lottery pick, I think.
A year of development means a lot.
Yeah.
Especially at that age.
It really does.
Harrison Barnes went back to school. I really dug that.
I just think how good you saw GG look on that Memphis team that had a ton of injuries. I can only imagine what he would be doing right now in college still.
If AJ Johnson goes 23, Gigi
Like I say,
Jackson should be a
he's definitely first round. I don't know if I want to say
Definitely first round.
he's a
I just
top
don't know
10
where.
pick, top 5 pick.
Yeah.
He's definitely first round though.
Can we be easy on my man AJ Johnson? Or Chad, are you guys gonna
Ron, I don't know,
the
bro.
Bucks
Him
just
going
didn't
first
make
round-
sense. The
Him
Bucks
going
just
first
didn't
round
make
was the worst thing to
sense.
happen for him, Ron. Jesus Christ.
I thought that was a bad pick too.
I was sitting here caping, praising, and pushing for AJ Johnson all the way up to the draft, just for him to go first round, which I didn't think. I thought he was a 2nd-round pick. For him to go at the end of the first round and everyone act like Bronny James went first round. Like, oh my God, the level of bitching and moaning I've heard about. Oh my God, what does AJ do?
It's not just first round. It's the Bucks. The Bucks.
Why is he going to the
Man.
Bucks? That's what I'm saying. The Bucks not a good team for AJ.
If he went first round to the Wizards when they took Keyshawn George, I would still be like, first round is a bit high. First round is high. But at least that makes sense. The Bucks don't make sense. And
What player could they have drafted? What player could they have drafted that would have been able to play immediately right now?
They're gonna say
At
what's
guard.
his name because of his
At
defense.
guard.
They're gonna say what's his name because of his defense.
Collier? They're going to say Collier.
Dylan Jones.
I would hear
Dylan
Collier
Jones.
because his defense at guard. Dylan Jones. You feel like Dylan Jones is gonna for the
Dylan
Bucks,
Jones
he
would have
can play
made
right
more
now.
sense than AJ Johnson. Yeah.
But again, to play right now,
Yeah, I can see that.
Dylan
I
Jones
don't
could be
think
in their
AJ's
rotation.
I
Dylan Jones could
don't
be in
think
their rotation.
AJ's playing right now. So to
Of
talk
course
about guys that are projects, a project pick at 25, 24, 23.
23.
I'm not mad. 23. A project pick at 23. I'm not mad at that. He's a project. So only reason people would complain is if you feel they should have got a guy that could play now. And how many guys were really ready to play now at the position they drafted? Dylan Jones. Cool. Who
Dylan
else?
Jones. Dylan Jones is who I can think of off the top of my head. Someone said Tyler Kolek. Would make more sense. Yeah, but
Dunn doesn't play immediately.
They got Tyler Smith in the 2nd round. when they should have just used the 23rd pick on him. But
yeah, they could have. If they would have flipped the picks, if they would have flipped the picks, I don't think people would have been mad. If they would have took Tyler Smith at 23 and then AJ at 33. No one would be mad. No one would be complaining.
Yeah, so I just don't think the Bucks
they'd be cool. They'd be cool
for both parties. I want to see every player go to the best situation possible. I don't think the Bucks are the best situation for AJ Johnson, and I don't think AJ Johnson is the best pick for the Bucks. I just think it's a bad pick for both parties, and I hope AJ Johnson can develop because I see the potential. It's just right now it's potential. It's not anything realized.
Right.
Anime Lecture Hall said Coop and AJ in Brooklyn incoming. Thanks, Mars.
I guess.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if y'all have given Brooklyn their props. I find it hilarious how Brooklyn sold teams on the fact that they were gonna build around Mikal Bridges as their best player, and in one trade they went from being one of the weirdest future teams to they're like top 3 in draft picks now. That's an amazing turnaround in one off season for them.
The fact that they got all their picks back,
crazy,
and
they
not all of them. We still have a 2027 swap.
Okay, well,
so nearly all of them.
I'm sorry, Mars. Instead of the 7,
they might get Cooper Flag. Chill. They might get Cooper Flag.
They may well do that. So
if they get Cooper Flag, I'm throwing something.
It really might happen. I'm being so serious, bro. Listen. We know the Nets are gonna fire sale a lot of the valuable players on their roster, and now that they have their own pick, you know they're gonna be taking hard for that Cooper Flag. You know that.
No, unacceptable.
No,
they need the 5th pick. I need to make.
Sorry, Mars.
Trading that 25 pick feel worth it. They need the 5th pick.
It's all good though, Mars. You getting KD, bro?
Superchats, man.
JJWAD said the Thunder signed Hardenstein. They are stacked.
I think it's just crazy how we go from a dude being a backup to now they're stacked. And I don't want to downplay Hartenstein. I don't want to do that. I don't want to downplay him because I do think that he's a damn good 5-man, but I think he fits the need that they have. When we think about teams that stack, I think about bomb squads where they have an immense amount of talent across the board. Right. And I don't think Hartenstein is that talented at the 5. I mean, he's very limited offensively. Defensively, I think he's good, and I think he actually fits the need that they have. Where as a frontline big, he can rim protect. He does rebound. I think he had an 18 rebound game against Joel Embiid. So he does rebound. That part I won't argue. But all of a sudden, let's chill out on Hartenstein, being Olajuwon. Okay, let's chill out. All right, don't get me wrong. I think he helps Oklahoma City, but let's chill out on that.
I'm not mad at your rationale, Chill, but I think the reason why a lot of people would say they're stacked is because what he does to make their roster more complete in terms of weak holes, he tightens that. You also add that with Alex, which is a great move. And this is a roster that still has cap space to go get more guys, and they have the most draft capital in the NBA. From all facets of team construction, they are stacked. That's why people say that.
They got Caruso and Hartenstein.
No picks.
For Josh Giddey.
Yeah, no picks at all.
Like that's essentially what OKC
are doing. And I'm doing that every day, Mars. Every day I'm doing that.
And even if you like Josh Giddey, they then drafted another Josh Giddey. So like, even the people who are like, well, I like Josh Giddey. Well,
I hate to break up Mars. I have another breaking news. Announcement. Since we're speaking about the Bulls and Josh Giddey here, it says the Bulls trading for Josh was the final straw, and now DeMar DeRozan is no longer looking to stay with the Bulls.
Finally,
imagine Josh Giddey finds
that man
out
got morals.
No, that was crazy.
Morals. Josh Giddey.
I can't do this shit.
Hell no, I got a daughter. Hell no.
He spent all summer dancing to that Kendrick shit. It was like, nah, bro. I can't be caught dead with this dude in the locker room, bro. Trade me. I'm up out of here, man.
I gotta start high school next year.
He not like us. He not like us. He not like us.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
So what you guys mean to tell me is Zach LaVine's hair is falling out right now?
Oh man, I hope
Zach next. Just no.
So if Zach come back bald next year, we know why.
He the new Caruso.
Yeah.
He the new Caruso.
New MJ.
All right. ZKJ said, "Rest in piss, Denver." Christian Brown starting. LOL. Enjoy the fake chip versus playing teams and the 8th seed. Lakers, OKC, Dallas, T-Wolves will take it from here.
Damn,
It's
that
funny. It's
like
funny because the Lakers were one of the
Lakers
and
and
the Nuggets beat.
yeah,
So,
they were
but
one
now
of
you're
those
saying the Lakers are taking
and
it.
you saw the
from here,
avatar
like,
too. I'm sure you saw the
Yeah.
avatar there, Mars. That sounds like sour grapes, man. Wow, that sounds like sour grapes.
That's just hypocritical.
It did for sure.
That's just hypocritical.
I like how he led with Lakers, not the 4 teams that were just in the. He led with the Lakers. I feel it though.
Led with the playing team. Yeah, makes sense.
Showtime CJ said, shout out to Kevin Porter Jr. back in the NBA. Kirsa waved.
That was the crazy thing to me. She just got waived like a couple days ago, and he get a new long-term, I was gonna say long-term contract. Well,
I mean, 2 years and giving him.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that
like,
is a long-term contract. Him getting a long-term contract after she just got waived.
Crazy.
The Clippers have no morals.
Why
they
would
don't.
they?
The Clippers have no morals. But
Why would they?
They're 5th most valuable franchise in the NBA. So you push buttons, Morris.
yeah, they.
That shitty ass button they push.
You
I'm sorry, Ron. Like, oh, we're 5th. Let's not pay the guy we traded all our picks for because we're 5th. All right, he'll be 10th by the end of it.
It's interesting how little the NBA cares about like domestic violence,
morals and shit. Yeah,
but Jonte Porter will place a parlay and get a lifetime ban. But
he's out of there. He's out of there.
But someone hits women. Yeah, we'll make you a millionaire again. Like,
well,
it's nice to see that I've heard.
no. Actually, the reason why he's back is because she went publicly and stated how it wasn't as bad as people made it seem. He didn't do it, and they settled. In the NFL, I was going to bring up the NFL how they don't care, but the NFL does care if you're caught. If it's video, if you're convicted, if you get in trouble for it, they care. And I feel that's the same way for the NBA. The issue,
Jason Kidd a coach in the league right now, right? Jason Kidd's a coach. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. The NBA doesn't care. But hey, place a parlay. That's too far, buddy.
That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. You know,
you hear women? Oh, come on, man. Yeah, we'll make you a millionaire. We'll
a redemption. You'll be better.
And for the record,
you assaulted a 13-year-old? We'll start game in Utah. We'll bring you out front and center. Yeah, we'll do that.
That is the most damning thing to be letting Carmelo just come walk around here.
First of all, Mars, don't undersell it. He did. First of all, Mars, don't undersell it. He didn't assault a 13-year-old. He got her pregnant. Those two things.
Yeah, that shit. That is wild.
No,
too.
those two things are not the same thing. He got a 13-year-old.
God forbid he would have took his over on rebounds in a game in 1993.
That was way.
Then he would have been out of the league.
Hell no.
He took the over. He would have been out of there. Yeah.
And to Damo's point, to be fair, unless it's on tape, it ain't that bad. Just so you know, we was never supposed to see that Ray Rice film. Never. We
that
were
was
never
supposed to come out.
See that. That was supposed
bad.
to be.
Boy.
That's why you heard.
Bad.
That's why you heard the commissioner say, "quote that when he went with the 6 games. The reason why he went with the 6 games, Damo, is because we're gonna handle this." He saw Ray Rice walk into that hotel. He saw Ray Rice the whole night in the casino. He saw Ray Rice get in the elevator. He saw Ray Rice crack his chick nose. He saw all of that. But you know what? We're gonna handle this because nobody else is gonna see it. Only we all saw it, and it was like, oh shit! Now I really have to handle this. I'm in trouble.
Was the Ray Rice one worse than? Actually, I'm not finna compare the best of 5. Good
decision. That was a good decision, Ron. That was a great decision out of Ron. W Ron for that decision.
That's all it was. We weren't supposed to see that film, and if we would have seen the film of Kevin Porter Jr., if we would have seen the film, it would have been way worse than what it was. Like if we end up seeing her in the hospital with a swollen eye and she got a fat lip or something like that, and he did that, now teams have to wash their hands of him. We can't put this dude out front. No, we can't.
And the main reason is like regardless of like what's right or wrong, video, like you can't get the image out of your head when you see the video for anybody. You can't do it.
That's why Jordan Poole ain't on the Warriors no more, because all we see is what? No matter what, we see Draymond punching him in the face. That's all we see.
I was gonna say bad turnovers, but you can go ahead.
Draymond punching him in the face. That was it.
Teddy Hart sent through a $25 super chat. Big shout out to Teddy. Teddy said, why don't NBA players play the 3-on-3 basketball event at the Olympics? Sounds like an easy goal to me. Side note, praying for an OKC reunion with KD soon.
Don't we have NBA players that are playing in the 3-on-3 in the Olympics or no?
It's
I
typically
know
not
WNBA players do the 3-on-3.
I know W players do it.
Right?
Yeah. Even with the WNBA players, so it'll still be college players. Like, what's her name to play for LSU? I don't know why I'm having a brain.
Flau'jae?
Left-hand girl. She just transferred to TCU. Haley
forgot her
Van
name.
Lith. She's actually playing.
Right.
She played last year and they won gold. She's playing again this year.
Okay.
Ryan Howard, big shout out to Ryan Howard. She eating in them 3-on-3s. Cameron Brink was gonna play, but then she obviously tore her ACL.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other two. I know Hamby, she's about to actually replace Cameron Brink as well, and she's getting busy this year. She's having a breakthrough year.
You see that?
But like the WNBA, they kind of go half and half, but they'll go with college players as well.
Okay.
I want to say, did Caitlin play last year? Caitlin or Paige might have played last year in the 3-on-3 too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the NBA though, these guys don't want to play in that.
Last year or the last Olympics?
Last Olympics. No, it was
In 21.
It was
it was
Where was the Olympics in 21? Wasn't it in Tokyo or Japan?
Yeah, Japan, yeah.
if it wasn't last year, it was during last FIBAs.
Okay.
But yeah, these NBA guys don't want to do that. Like, especially like with the US can roll out a team full of G Leaguers and go win it.
Bro, Bam Adebayo would be the perfect 3-on-3 player.
Man, go get Michael Beasley. What's going on right now?
And now Michael Beasley a hooper too.
They don't go get anyone from the big three. Go get Michael
I'm just saying Beasley 3-on, like, man.
Go get Michael Beasley. I will be tuned in. Go get Michael Beasley.
Bam Adebayo 3-on-3 is just so satisfying. Just do everything. Switch, pick up, handle.
We don't here for defense. Switch.
Yo, you dudes in the chat. You dudes in the chat. Y'all ain't nothing but suckers, yo. Y'all for real. Y'all nothing but suckers.
Oh shit, what's happening now?
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You dudes ain't nothing but suckers. To say I endorse something like that, and then to turn around and call yourself a man, you dudes is nothing but suckers. I mean,
they crashing out.
I mean that. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. You dudes is nothing but suckers. You can laugh at it and think it's funny, but it's not. You dudes is suckers, for real. Straight suckers. Nothing but suckers.
And so Team USA 3-on-3, their men's roster in 2023, it was Kenyon Berry, Jimmer Fredette, Kareem Maddox, and Dylan Travis.
They won, right? They won.
I don't know who Kareem Maddox is.
They won.
I don't know who a lot of those people are.
I know Jimmy was there. I know Jimmy.
I say, did they win?
I'm pretty sure they won.
Might did something.
Let me see. So I'm pulling it up right now. They won the first game versus Latvia, won the second game versus Australia, won against Slovenia.
Yeah, we're good.
Out there. Won against Austria, won against France, won against Brazil, lost to Serbia, looks like in the championship. So they
lost to
made
Serbia?
The championship and got packed up.
So,
Man, if you don't go get KD, LeBron, and Steph, like clearly the USA needs help. Clearly they need help.
Man.
Damn.
I mean, with that roster, they got second.
Michael Beasley.
I mean, yeah, you
I'm
got
gonna just
Michael
put this
Beasley
out here.
guaranteeing gold for sure.
For what it's worth, out of the guys I named, was one
name I recognize. I'm about to say only one name I recognize. And for us to get second with that.
Well, no, I'm saying it was one guy with melanin in his picture.
Oh, wow. It was a team of white guys?
Yeah. Hey, man. Shout out to the white
Man, if we
hoopers
don't
in America.
get Gordon Hayward, like Gordon Hayward will go give him 50.
All right. LaFlame said Gifted has some nice, clean, smooth skin. No pause.
Oh, salute, man. I appreciate that.
Gifted, you have a skin routine you want to tell the people about?
Yeah.
No, he's just a young dude. That's all. It ain't. Let's not make this look like it's something extra crispy. Gifted is like 19 years old.
That's
why
I'm
not.
No. Gifted like 28.
So he's a
I'm
young
20.
dude. Okay, and he's aging well. That's what this is.
I'm 25.
Yeah.
Get the hell out.
Chill. He can have a skin routine.
He's a young dude, and it looks
I drink
good.
water.
You thought Gifted was 19. That's proof that his skin routine was.
I did, to be honest with you. I thought you was like 20 years old. Gifted.
He like
I
your
take
age,
it.
bro. He like
I
your
take
age.
it.
Yeah. He getting up there.
They got game said we lost heart. That emoji face. What center should NYC get?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. The bigs are really getting questionable at this point, man. Like, who is out there that's gonna really replace value like that?
I'm gonna just keep saying Walker Kessler because clearly you don't want to get rid of him. So
yeah, they got to spend Walker Kessler. Yeah,
Walker Kessler's the only good big I think is available anyway.
And they got to do something about Mitchell Robinson.
You'll see this.
that is crazy
see,
timing
Walker
with Walker Kessler to Phoenix. That's perfect timing.
I don't know any other big that's like Claxton just re-up.
Claxton just re-up. Vucevic might get traded somewhere.
You guys do know the Jazz just signed another center, right?
Yeah, they
did. I missed that.
Yeah, they signed Drew Eubanks.
Wait, they signed.
I don't know what that
understand
means
because Drew Eubanks is bad. So if they're willing
Drew Eubanks is not good.
And so we
there's something wrong with Walker Kessler.
And I don't know if you know this, Mars.
Like.
So we clear, Mars. The Trailblazers got 3 5-men on their roster. 3.
They got Aiden, Robert Williams, and
they got 3 5-men on their roster.
The Wizards have Valanciunas. They just re-signed Rashawn Holmes, and they have Alex Sarr. And they have
Jesus Christ.
They got Marvin Bagley too, yeah.
Yeah, so the Wizards.
Also, James Wiseman is a free agent right now, I think.
If the Knicks can get Robert Williams, though, that would be nice. If they can bet on his health,
that would be really that would be very good for the Knicks.
They're willing to bet on his health. That would be.
Only problem is you an injury-prone ass team, but I like that. I do like that.
Robert Williams is really good if he can stay healthy.
Very good. Yeah, I agree.
Walker Kessler is getting treated how everyone wants to treat Rudy Gobert, and it's sick.
I think the Knicks might have assets still to make a move like that. Maybe
it is. That's how they treat him. They're treating him like Gobert. They're treating him how everybody wants to treat Rudy Gobert. And now, can I scream racism? I probably would. Now, the tall white boy that's playing the rim protector role, that's not doing much on offense, is getting benched and looked over by everybody else. But we gonna give the French guy all the praise and accolades.
I don't think it's fair.
So one's the 4-time defensive player of the year. The other one can't play 20 minutes.
Can't play 20 minutes because of what? Because coaching decisions. Because when he was out there, he was just as impactful. I remember them numbers. I remember them.
I'm not gonna lie. I also remember the numbers. I ain't gonna say much on that.
Numbers with Rudy Gobert's. I ain't gonna say much on that. He is just as impactful as a rim protector and being out there as Rudy. But now he's getting treated like
I ain't saying nothing on that because I definitely know the numbers and Domo is not lying about that conversation. That conversation was a thing for people.
Could the Knicks trade for Robbie Williams? Because
I would love that for them.
His contract is very trade friendly. He's on the books for $25 million over the next 2 years.
I think Robert Williams really moved the needle for the Knicks.
They give out Dadier, who they just drafted. Who else did they draft? Not.
Wait a minute! I forgot. They might be capped out though, because they brought back OG for 204.
Yeah.
They got Mikal Bridges now.
Yeah.
Brunson, Randall
on the cheap.
I actually don't know what their cap space situation
is. They were able to offer Hartenstein $72 million. So I'm assuming they have some money.
And he went to Oklahoma City for $15 million more. So
so they should be able to go get him then. Yeah, I know.
Robert Williams is who I go for if I'm the Knicks. Robert Williams is who I
for real. Because like I said,
that's a legitimate piece though. If you add Robert Williams to that team with Mikal Bridges, OG, oh my God, that's a good team. That's a very good team. I like that.
Cultured Saunders said Tobias is a post on.
He meant to say
Piston. He meant to say Piston, but O and I are right next to each other.
Yo, listen, first off, shout out to Tobias Harris for having a career earnings of $302 million and not making not one All-Star game. Keep a job, man. Keep a job, man. Hey, listen, he be tricking them every single year. Shout out to bro. 52 M's of the Pistons, you got it, bro.
Get that brand.
You got it. I feel bad for Cade, man. Cade doesn't deserve.
Cade is so fried. He's so cooked, man.
I'm feeling bad.
Hey, listen.
I'm not.
I want the chat to know this is the shit that's gonna impact Cade's VORP. I just want y'all to know that. This shit right here is impacting his VORP.
Can I get a potential Tobias Harris stat line for the year?
Don't matter.
18, 6, and 3. That's
18.
Yes,
you think he went up 18?
Yeah, 18's not far-fetched.
I was gonna say 19, 7, and 3.
Yeah, 18, 6, and 3.
I'm gonna say 14, 6, and 3.
You're gonna shoot like 38% on 5 threes a game. And people who aren't watching the Pistons are gonna ignore all the times he pump fakes threes for no reason.
Bro, he gotta be the fakest 18 I've ever seen, bro. That shit is so fake.
Oh, it's gonna be fake. But hey, who cares if it's real or fake when we just watching the box score?
I hear you on that. Yeah,
19, 7, and 3.
Okay, force your way out of there, game. It's time.
He's an elite rebounder. He's putting up like 9 rebounds a game.
You signed the contract. You got the money. Force your way out. Hit up Harden for that fat suit. Get about a Detroit game.
Yeah, they doing K dirty. K gonna be 25 by the time they just make a competent roster decision. It's gonna be.
Hey Mars, I do want to ask something though, because like after the Knicks made the trade and they got the and the Nets got their picks back from Houston, and you heard about Houston having interest in KD. Do you not think that like Harden and KD could very well make their way to Houston within a year? I'm being serious when I say that. Like I'm actually not trolling with you.
Gifted, you still?
I hope Steph Curry gets traded for Killian Hayes. Why?
Just calm.
Oh, James Harden and KD.
Mars. Listen,
we got Superchats to read.
yes, it's not going to take me that long at all. I'm just saying, if you look at it, right. Here's the thing: the link between KD and Houston is Ime Udoka. That's one thing, right? In my opinion, James, fine, and then. Cool. And then you have Tillman Fertitta, who has repeatedly said that he wants them to win now. The moves that they have made have been in attempts to make them a better team to be in a win now position. In my opinion, if KD's going to get traded, the Suns are going to want a star back. To me, Şengün would be that star player that you trade to the Suns.
Keep going, Gifted.
Right? If KD goes to Houston, we know whenever KD goes to a team, he doesn't go alone. And guess who has a player option this upcoming season? James Harden.
Keep going, Gifted.
Has ties to Houston, obviously, because he was the first, star, at least in this modern era in Houston. So to me, those two players coming together makes sense. I think that you could keep Jabari Smith as your 4 and you build on from there. Now, again, that's projection, but I'm just paying attention to the money. The new CBA is influencing all the money stuff. And I think the Houston Rockets, I'm not saying I would do this, but I think they are legitimately in desires to win now. And the fact that there was a report saying that they have interest in KD and they believe that they can get KD, how better else to get KD than getting another star player that he's played with before, that they've had great chemistry with, who knows the area in Houston, in James Harden. I'm just putting that out there. I wouldn't be surprised because we know the Sun shit. They don't look good. They're bringing back the same exact roster. They're losing some players. Are we really surprised if KD asks for a trade? If you ask for a trade, they want picks and they want a star. Houston would have that. Just putting it out there. You just saying?
Hey, you spitting.
I don't think Mars look happy at all. Mars, I'm not trying to trigger you. I'm just genuinely asking what you would think about a potential overall scenario like that. I'm genuinely
gifted. He'll be happy with Harden, Jalen Green, and KD.
You guys change a little bit. Summer League. Cam Whitmore gonna be in Summer League, by the way. So
okay, so you don't want to answer the question seriously. Like I just want to,
Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepherd. We just got AJ Griffin. He gonna be in Summer League too.
Amen.
Nah, Amen with the select team. He with the select team. Him and Jabari
playing against the Olympic team, right?
Yeah. Okay, Mars. I just want like a quick, serious answer. I'm just curious. I don't know what your mind is on this. I understand. I'm just curious about what your thoughts would be on something like that.
We play the Lakers first day of the Summer League, July 20th.
All right, so you're not gonna be serious. All right, I can't do nothing. I tried, but that is something that is out there. I don't believe that there's a random report that says that the Houston Rockets are interested in KD, and then days later, the Phoenix Suns say, we want to keep our core together. To me, that's the Suns trying to inflate the value of their guys because that franchise is falling apart. And I think if there's a team to pick up the pieces that's young, has pieces that are win now but don't have stars, that's the Houston Rockets to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they're the next team to take a swing on names. That might happen. I'm just putting it out there. I see the vision a little bit.
Hey, Ball became a YouTube member today. Big shout out to Mr. Ball. Appreciate you for coming through. And shout out to all the other members too. If you haven't liked the video yet, what are you waiting for? If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? If you haven't became a member, good. That means you could become a Hall of Famer next. Speaking of Hall of Famers, let me give a big shout out to, y'all know the names. Kendall Daniels, Dorian Clayton, Mikhail, Cobra Son of Raditz, and last but certainly not least, my dog Jerry Reality. Shout out to all of them. Walker also has been a member for 10 months. He said, my Bulls are finally free. Cooper, get ready. We're coming to get you.
What position is Cooper? What is he? 6'9", 6'10", something like that?
Yeah, he a 4.
So you got him at the 4.
He's a 4, man.
And so Mateus is also a 4 too.
Yeah, he had 3. He'll play the 3.
So we could play him at the 3.
I mean, Matthias could be 4-3.
So you
Yeah.
so you
Both
so
of
you,
them can be realistic.
so you build
Yeah.
so you if you end up with the number 1 pick, you're gonna build a unit around both Matthias and Cooper Flag with Josh Giddey and Kobe White. I don't hate that. I don't.
But
I'll
if they
play one
get
of them
Cooper,
guards.
if they get Cooper, and this is no disrespect to Matas, if they get Cooper, they're building around Cooper, not Cooper.
Cooper Flag becomes the guy you build around. That's fact.
If Matas becomes he doesn't fit, they'll get off Matas. No disrespect.
If he becomes like a Jaylen Brown type somehow, cool. You know?
Yeah, but
fine.
he has to complement Cooper. They aren't
Exactly.
building on both.
I agree.
It will
I'm
become
80%
all
on that.
about
I'm just gonna put it like
Yeah.
this: if they get Cooper Flag, this is the best Caucasian duo we've seen, chill, since Larry Bird and Kevin McHale.
Since Bird and McHale.
Best Caucasian duo.
The best Caucasian duo.
That's Bird and McHale.
What's the most recent Caucasian duo? I'm trying to think in my head right now.
the most recent?
Some would say Stephen Clay.
Okay.
Nah, that's that. All right.
I'm just saying what
Um,
I don't agree. Some would say
But why you got to voice what someone say?
Asian duo?
because I know a guy that be up here that be saying that.
Divock
Oh,
and
Lord.
Stojakovic.
Not bad.
Nash and Dirk.
Nash and Dirk.
yeah.
Sure.
Forgot about Nash and Dirk. Nash and Dirk is a good one.
You muted.
Can't hear you,
Damo.
Damo. Can't hear you, Damo.
He said some nonsense. You saw by his facial expression. He said some nonsense.
Who you said, Damo?
I said Chet and Giddy.
See that thing? That's what you know. He said some nonsense. That's what you know. He said some nonsense. Hey,
Oh,
Chet-
shit.
Chet and Caruso.
Alex Caruso,
Caruso
check.
check.
Right.
Ooh,
Hey,
show
look.
Caruso in check.
There you go.
Whoa. We haven't seen them yet. That's yet to be seen. It's different.
We ain't seen Cooper
okay.
Matters.
I mean,
Well, that's why he said in the
Giddey and Matis-
he said it in pretense. They're going to be. That's pretense.
Mm.
Same thing with Chet and
Yeah, that's pretense.
Yeah.
So we're talking who have we seen so far? So far, the last one is it the last one or the best one?
Stockton and Hornacek.
yeah, you gotta show them some love.
Stockton and Hornacek.
Nash and Gasol.
Oh my
No.
god. Okay.
No.
Nash.
Drink More Water said, is the players versus fans perception of Westbrook the largest in the NBA and of all sports? It seems like a lot of players love and respect Westbrook, while a lot of fans think he's not good and disrespect him.
Have you ever heard anything in terms of teammates? Like the units that he's been on. Have you ever heard anything bad about Russ and teammates? I've never heard one thing about him.
No,
His play can be a little bit erratic, right? He can throw the ball in the second row. He'll shoot crazy shots. But on no level have I ever heard anybody go, Russ sucks as a teammate. I hate being around the dude. I've always heard great things about Russ. The fan perception about Russ is Damo. That's the fan perception about Russ. Everybody just essentially hates this dude.
You as a symbol.
Extreme.
That's essentially how they feel about this dude. And what it tells me is this is a testament to how good Russ is, or how good he actually was, off the strength that how much people, in terms of fans, hate him because of what they expected from him.
that's fair. I did expect a lot out of him, and he let me down too many times. True.
Also, I do want to say Gordon Hayward and Joe Ingles. We slept on them.
I'm gonna keep sleeping.
I mean, you ask Paul George, he'll probably be high on their list, or they'll probably be high on his list.
You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. I give you that for sure.
Say less smokes, or say less smokes. However, he said Swiper is Denver's Rich Paul. I swear.
He'd be doing his best to negotiate on Denver's behalf.
Bro, Klay.
And then turn around and make it sound like it's not about Denver, when it really it's
Oh
100%
yeah.
about them. It's 100% about them.
Show Out Will said Derrick White 4-year, 125 mil. Show Out, you got to pay attention. Gifted dropped that gifted bomb before. Come on, man, lock in.
Breaking news,
Lock
yeah,
in,
breaking
lock in.
news.
Re-up. Let's run
Oh.
it back.
And then Show Out Will also with some more breaking news. He said the Boston Celtics are for sale now.
What?
he went back.
What?
Huh? Really?
What?
The KJ said the Clippers are the Arsenal of the NBA.
Is that true?
I don't watch football, but I wish I could understand that. I don't. Are they like a poverty team? in football?
I wouldn't say so.
Who are we talking about?
Arsenal? I don't watch
Oh,
football, so I don't know.
I thought you were talking about football. My bad.
Not that.
Arsenal have won stuff. Arsenal have won stuff, so I wouldn't say the Clippers.
All right. So now that we've lost our whole European audience, it was good to have y'all here.
I salute to all the first and last time listeners.
Big Ball said, "Keep sleeping on the Bulls. We about to be sneaky good."
No, you're
You
not.
don't want to be sneaky good.
No,
What's
you
the
don't.
point? Oh my God, with a 9 seeds.
You want to be bad, so you get the pick. What you mean sneaky
Right.
good? What you want to be sneaky good
See,
for?
y'all, we be so quick to call out the Bulls. They fans are no better. Y'all want to be
They worse, Damo. They worse.
Yeah, like they want to win 39 games. Like
They worse.
Let's catch
I'm
them
not gonna
by
lie though,
surprise.
like
All right,
I don't care what it is. I really want to get Lonzo Ball from their roster. I believe in him. I know he's banged up or whatever. I think Lonzo Ball can get back to what he was before. It's a long shot, I know, but if he does, that's a great player, man.
that's like there's long shots and then there's that. That's
But they put someone else's meniscus in him. Like I just got to see it, man.
I don't think that's ever happened. Like this is like the first time I think that's ever happened. So
It's never happened before. Yeah.
if it doesn't work, it has an 100% failure rate. If it does work,
But at the same time, if he comes back shooting 40% from three, defense looking better, that'd be
if
crazy.
he comes back at that level on defense,
Wow.
If he comes back on that level of defense and the athleticism is still at least 80-85% there, hey Joel, let's talk about some new surgery game. He's 2 years old. Let's get some dome.
I ain't even mad at you for saying that. I ain't even mad at you for saying that.
Meniscus up in there.
I thought they did that. I thought they did that with ACLs. Like they take ACLs out of cadavers. They've done that before.
I didn't know that.
I never heard about it done with anything.
A cadaver? I
never heard it done with anything from a
I want locked into that.
They should have done that to Dwayne Wade. He would still be hooping right now.
It's not too late.
Thought about doing
Apparently.
that. Dwayne Wade at the time.
That man Dwayne Wade was playing with no meniscus.
DeJuan Black can make a comeback.
DJ Noel said, "If the Sonics come back and Vegas gets a team, how will it affect draft and trades? I don't think it will be super teams no more. It will just be big three for every team."
Even if
Well, the two more teams come back, more money's around.
And
that's
even
really it.
Even if them dudes don't come back immediately, I think we're done with the super team era. I think that era is over. I think that we live in a duo era, with just built around a bunch of really good players. I think that's what we're looking at now.
I think when you say super team, you got to look at the entire roster construction and is it really plus players at every position? That's like the newer version of what a super team would kind of be. But you still need to have star players.
You absolutely need that.
Yeah, the league has more parity now than like any time since like the 70s. And the 70s had like a bunch of different champs. But if you look at like the dynasties throughout history, so like obviously you could go back to the Micah Lakers, but real basketball. So the Celtics with Bill Russell. Then the only dynasties, you got the Showtime Lakers, the Celtics with Bird. Maybe you could throw the Pistons in there. Depends on how you feel. The Bulls, the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, the Warriors.
Yeah.
Those are like the dynasties. Most of them have top 15 players of all time to avoid argument. And a lot of the reason why they're top 15 players of all time is because of they won this many championships, four rings, 3 rings, all of this level of success. The Spurs, my fault. All of this level of success, etc. But if we're in a league with this much parity, it's realistic to say we're gonna see a bunch of superstars who don't win 4 or 5 rings. We're not gonna see another Magic Johnson with 5 championships, or Kareem with 6 championships, or Jordan with 6, or Russell with 11. Like, we're not gonna see that because the league is so spread out in terms of how good everyone is. The Boston Celtics might win 2, the Nuggets might win 2, the Bucks might win 2. So
now,
how do we judge these players on an all-time scale?
Sure.
If Giannis only has 2 rings, is he now excluded from certain conversations because the league has so much parity that you're not going to be able to create dynasties anymore? Does Giannis get held back, or does Jokic get held back?
Well, that was my next question to you, Mars. Is that only in this era, and ultimately we're going to see teams come back with multiple stars and win multiple championships again? We're going to see a 3-peat team. We're going to see a team win the NBA championship 4 times in 7 years again. We may not see it in this era, but we may very well see it again. Now, in this era, I think it's a little bit different because, like you just mentioned, the parity in this era and the way teams are being built. If you look at the Warriors, how they were built. If you look at the Celtics, how they were built. If you look at Denver, how they were built. That team was basically constructed through the draft. Now, moving forward, are we going to see teams built that way? Probably. And if we see teams built that way, especially considering how much money these guys are making and how much you can hold on to your free agents now, we may see guys stay with crews longer than we did 10 years ago, where you had guys bouncing around more. You might see teams being able to hold on to this stuff. I think Jason Tatum, he could very well play 12, 13 years with the Celtics, the way that the money is. That could very well happen. Jaylen Brown.
But the problem, like I'm with you, Chip, but the problem is what the new CBA does is it makes you have to actively look at your roster every year. You have to understand what guys are coming up, what extensions are going to be there for the table. And more importantly, it puts a premium on having to pay good players. Like these role player guys are going to get paid, and you have to reach the market year after year after year. A guy like KCP, who was an integral piece on a championship team, is gone off the roster a year removed. It happens like that now. So keeping the star players, sure, but you're going to wind up super maxing your team out, and you don't have that many slots to do that with unless you got bird rights. So the management is going to be a lot harder to do those things now, for sure.
So and it can change down the line. Like
true.
When they change the CBA, because I don't like this. When they change the CBA again, maybe it will go back to how it was. But for the players in this era, so the Giannis, the Jokic, whoever else you want to come up, the Embiids, the Jason Tatum, whoever, if they can't rattle off 3-4 championships because of how much parity is in the league and how hard it is to create this all-time dynasty like a Warriors or the Bulls, because you physically can't do that. Are they going to be held back in the all-time conversation? Is Jokic going to be, well, he can't crack the top 10 because he only has 2 rings. Or Giannis can't crack the top 10 because Bird won 3, Giannis only has 2. Or Magic won 5, Giannis only has 3. So he can't. Are you going to be held back because of the way the rules have made it for team building, that now because you can't create a dynasty, you're now limited to where you can go in the all-time conversations?
That may be the case, Miles, and the reason why is because have we seen somebody like, for example, you talked about in the 70s, like have we seen somebody in this decade? We're going half the decade is just about over. Have we seen somebody in this decade dominate like Jabbar did in the 70s? That's gonna be the bar. That's why Jabbar was where he was. I mean, as good as Dave Cowan was, as good as Havlicek was, one of the main reasons why they are held in such a high regard is because they won. And the fact that Jabbar was able to do what Jabbar was able to do individually, I don't think we've seen that in this. I don't think we're going to see that in this decade where we got a guy winning the league MVP 5 times in 7 years. We got a guy winning the league MVP, I don't know, 4 times in 6 years, something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jokic just did it where he won it 3 times in 4 years. To be honest with you, I don't think he's going to win it again for the rest of his career. I think that's it for him.
Oh, really?
I don't think he's going to win it again, to be quite honest with you.
I think because he's healthy, he's going to always be in a conversation because
I think
but we got to keep it pushing, y'all. I got
historical implications won't allow him to win.
Oh, right, yeah.
Who it would equal.
I know we got to keep going, Ron. My fault.
Right.
Newest member, Walker Kessler to Phoenix. There you have it. Shout out to Walker Kessler. Shout out our newest member. Jerry Allity said Thunder versus Knicks 2025.
So this NBA finals is
going to they'll probably play each other in November sometime. Yeah,
they will play each other in January too. When the schedule comes out.
They play each other twice a year.
Yeah. Hunter 3200 said Knicks offense might be cooked next year. A lot of people don't realize how valuable he was to our offense. Our C lineup is injury prone. Mitch and Jericho Sims.
That's why you get Robert Williams. Robert Williams is a very good passer. One of his most underrated.
Fits very well on that Knicks
team. Robert Williams makes sense.
And he's cheap too.
And he's cheap too.
And you got him on the cheap.
That is you being a GM if you make the Rob Will trade.
But then obviously there's always the risk that you get him and then he's hurt for the rest.
And he doesn't play.
Is it worth it though, Mo? I think it's a low risk, high reward. He's only
I think it's kind of worth it to me.
It's only.
I think it makes. I would do it. I would do it if I can.
13 million? Yeah, I would do it.
I would do it. Yeah.
Pimp named Slickback said Mars, come join the Nets fan base.
Mars, you know what? Don't act like
as much as the hoe I am reported to be.
100%.
I couldn't get into bed with a team I was actively rooting against them for their downfall. That's one thing I couldn't do. That would be.
got some.
Oh, so
Okay,
you
You won't want to give. So you won't give me none because we was beefing in the past.
He got some standards.
So even I.
He got some standards. He
Even
got some
I.
standards and some morals, Ron. Okay.
Even I.
Gifted, are you buying this? So we was beefing
Hell
in the
no.
past, and then now all of a sudden, because you always been this, no, hell no, I'm not trying.
I think he's saying is, but if the Nets are good and they listen, if the Nets draft Flag, Mars is switching. I don't care what he
100%.
tell nobody up here.
100%.
If they get Cooper
Mars
Flag,
gonna come up here and be like, I was attached to the pick. Not the franchise, I was attached to the pick.
That 100% is what he gonna say.
That's crazy.
Look, he not saying nothing right now because he know that's fact.
You got to move on.
We
We
know.
got 1 minute before the end of the show.
I bet. Okay.
Speaking of which, Easy MB said the Rockets are big game hunting. That means Devin Booker.
Man, we got Devin Booker. His name Jalen Green.
You think Devin Booker big game hunter? That's funny.
We locked in, man. 51.
Pip named Slickback said Nash and Dirk.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bilal K said, "Talk me into why Klay would be good on the Mavs."
He can shoot.
He's the Michael Jordan of the Tim Hardaway variant.
He can shoot. You need shooting.
Yes, that.
Mhm.
Jerryality said, "Has any young star been through a shitty start like Cade?"
Yeah, Joel Embiid.
Barkley.
Barkley started off on the Sixers.
Yeah, Moses Malone got traded the next year. Andrew Toney tore up his Achilles. Doc retired.
Yeah, but at least his first year was they were contenders, allegedly.
Yeah.
Cade has just gone into poverty and remains in poverty. Charles Barkley started in the penthouse and it devolved into poverty. Cade ain't never seen the penthouse.
That means he will, maybe.
Last but not least, y'all, Pip named Slickback said 9 teams currently control 75% of draft picks between now and 2031. I think 5 to 6 years from now, we are about to see a huge imbalance in teams in talent, with so many teams also not having future picks.
Yeah, because they keep trading these shits every year.
That's why I feel like that's why
me
me and Gifted went over that, because I feel like that's how I feel like we could get our pick. You can get some of those picks back because teams will, especially dealing with dudes like Danny Ainge.
Only problem is you're relying on that team to be bad compared to controlling your own destiny by just being bad or making moves to be good.
In 2028, we might be on, like 4 years from now, the league has so much parity now. We might be in a situation where there's like 8 teams that are just egregiously bad.
Garbage. Trash.
Like, there's somebody parity at the top because all the good teams are like really good and next to each other. But we might have a lot of bad teams.
Facts.
So it's going to be interesting.
That's facts.
All right, y'all. We will be back tomorrow to talk about more things about free agency, off season, and all of that good stuff. Y'all be sure to tap in, like the video on the way out. Y'all have a good day. PC football coming up later on playback. Tap in.
Later.
Merry Christmas.
Peace out. Have a good one, y'all. Salute.
Out.